Good evening and welcome to the Doom City of Granitegard here on the Guardtower Presents, our weekly live play fantasy adventure that we stream Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. on Twitch, and then we upload Fridays, that episode, to the Guardtower's YouTube channel. And if you're interested in checking out all things related to the Doom City of Granitegard, you can visit us on our Linktree page, which I believe you'll see displayed up on the screen there, as well as in the chat with our moderator. But if you're listening, that is linktr.ee/dcog. It's our Linktree page. There you can find our Patreon, our Twitch X thing that people are using with that, and our Discord, which you can pop on there and talk to all of us here at the Doom City of Granitegard. Also, links to the Guard Tower's Twitch and YouTube channel there. And so come on and visit us on that. We have our friends at Pocket Bard, of course, providing our music and sound effects. If you've not downloaded today, head on over to Google Play or the Apple App Store and get a copy for yourself. It'll bring a little bit of magic to your own table. So it's a fantastic little program on that. And also, if you are into role-playing games, you can stop by the Guard Tower, either their east or west location. If you're not into role-playing games, well, guess what? They've got card games. They've got strategy games, kinks, minis, the whole 9 yards there.
But I'm not sure if this is
board games.
show.
Yes, that's true. They have board games and a very vibrant community of gamers as well. So you can make some new friends, trade your old ones in. Fantastic on that.
Yeah, now it's tempting.
Absolutely, get new ones, get better ones at the Guard Tower.
Credit
I mean, it happens like that sometimes. So you can also visit them online where you can get new friends, but you can see the merchandise that they offer. And that's at theguardtower.com. Once again, that's theguardtower.com. Roger, do we have any special announcements this week? Anything that we've got going on?
I do not think so. I think you got us. We're all set.
All right. Well, fantastic. One last little thing. If you like what we're doing here on the Doom City of Granitegard, go ahead and give us a follow on Twitch or a like and subscribe on YouTube. It means a whole lot to us. It helps us grow the channel here, so we truly would appreciate that. If you've already done so,
Do it again.
thank you. Well, yes, do it again, but thank you so very much for that. A heartfelt thank you.
You have to click it twice. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah, create a new account.
It's
And
an
then-
iterative process.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yes. And for the overlords at YouTube, please watch all the way to the end. If hopefully we'll keep you entertaining that you'll want to. But regardless of that, even if we're not entertained, please watch all the way to the end.
If you're not liking it,
Just keep
watch
on watching.
longer.
So,
There's
yeah.
an Easter egg at 2 hours and 18 minutes.
So anyway, about all that, we're going to go ahead and jump to our intro and then get into our recap and our tonight's adventure. So let's get out of that before I say anything else embarrassing. So yeah, we'll see you here in a few moments.
Once the seat of economic and political power in the Northern Territories, the city of Granitegard fell in one catastrophic moment of terror and bloodshed. In the quiet hours of the night, the massive granite mesa that served as the city's namesake exploded violently, the debris reducing entire swaths of the city to ruin. Before the inhabitants could even comprehend what had happened, they were blindsided by an army of monstrosities surging from the sewers and into the city streets. The militia valiantly attempted to protect the fleeing citizens, but their efforts were futile against the overwhelming tide of bloodthirsty creatures. And in the midst of the chaos, the city gates slammed shut, turning Granitegard into a death trap for anyone that remained behind the high, fortified walls that had been meant to protect them. For over a decade, it has stood as silent as a tomb and shrouded in a perpetual mist. No one has entered, and nothing human has ever come out. That is, until now. 12 years to the day since the fall of Granitegard, the Trader's Gate has opened. The news has spread like wildfire across the human crescent. And like a siren's call, fortune hunters from far and wide have been drawn by the possibility of untold riches lying just inside the city walls. Daring the foolish and the brave to risk it all at a chance of wealth beyond their wildest dreams. It has also stirred the interest of old rivals. With no one from the original bloodline to claim the mantle of leadership of Granitegard, plans are forming in the dark. Powerful forces seek to play their games of state, as the lives of everyone in the north hangs in the balance. And in the midst of this all, 6 strangers have been drawn to Granitegard by something other than riches or power. Their destiny is tied to the events surrounding the fall of the city. Each of them must confront the past in order to find a way forward. Each of them must search for answers in the doomed city of Granitegard.
All right, welcome back. So again, we're going to do a quick recap and then we'll pop into tonight's adventure. So our party has all come to Newtown for their own hidden reasons, each of them encountering a charismatic and mysterious benefactor by the name of Versigallus Rex along the way. And while they had their suspicions about him, his offer to fund their endeavors and in and around the fallen city of Granitegard seemed too good to pass up. Are we passing notes still?
No.
No.
Don't worry about it.
I am totally worried. Any DM that does not get worried when their players are passing
We're
notes
not
is
passing notes.
Oh. So anyway, yes, the party has faced many adventures up to this point. Has had to overcome many challenges, and in doing so, Versigallus has almost become a side note on their quest. And at this particular point in time, while they did arrive as strangers, it looks like they have been forming some very close bonds finally to this point. I do believe the dangers and such seem to have brought them together, especially with last week's conversations that the party members had between Damon and Vahn, and then Mary expressing that she was very interested in trying to save Vahn for what seems to be a dark curse that he is under the burden of at this point. Now, the party was very, very excited when suspicions that they had were confirmed about Versigallus Rex as histories were revealed. And while they were reveling in their figuring that out, a new bomb was dropped on them surrounding Mary and the fact that she is the granddaughter of Melancholic, who seems to be the source of all of the troubles in and around Granitegard. However,
Man, your grandma's evil.
as we last left off, though, Skeech had decided to confront Versigallus Rex on some of the information that he had discussed and had asked him several very pointed questions about not having any skin in the game. And at that point, Versigallus had mentioned to him that he wanted to share a gift with Skeech and had reached out and touched Skeech on the forehead, just between his eyes there. And Skeech his eyes begin to roll back in his head, and you can see his body quivering. And at the same time, you can see Vahn also leans back into his chair, and his eyes also begin to roll back, almost as if the two of them are sharing some sort of connection. And Vahn, you can feel the burden, the stress that Skeech seems to be bearing at this moment, and then it's gone. And Skeech sits forward, both of you shaken by this moment here. And Versigallus is no longer at the table.
Would you care to explain what just happened, Skeech? What was that?
I don't know. And just kind of frantically looking for Versigallus. Where did he go?
Did we see where he went?
At that point, you had all been turned, looking at your friends, and as you look back, his seat is simply just empty. Wine glass sitting where it was, fork laying on the plate.
Who knows whether he was even really here in the first place? I mean, he's obviously incredibly powerful. Could have been an illusion. Could have teleported. We have no way of knowing his abilities are far beyond ours.
Did we notice Vahn react when he touched Skeech?
Absolutely.
What did it feel
Which is
like?
part of what drew your attention over away from where Versigallus was sitting.
Vahn, what did that have to do with you?
That's honestly a very good question. I don't know. Skeech, those feelings. What did he do to you? It felt like it was washing over him, but I couldn't grab onto a single one of them.
He didn't. He showed me something.
Well, it seems to have been powerful if it somehow affected me as well.
I think we should talk about this on the road, not here. As I'm glancing at all of the kobolds that we're watching.
There's still fear and confusion and like a mark of pain on Vaughn's face, almost like he's got the residual like hangover of a bad migraine from the day prior.
At this point, as you look out, the kobolds, again, a good number of them were still gathered around the table, but multiple ones have actually gone off to do their daily activities. Mostly it seems to be the attendants to the Alpha Mother that are gathered still around this area. And the Alpha Mother is sitting by her seat, just sitting back watching you, occasionally pulling some things from her plate, enjoying a little meal. Seems a little smirk on her face a bit.
Did you expect this?
Absolutely. He comes and goes as he pleases, as best he can. His visits are often very limited. Should he spend too much time here, he would certainly draw the attention of Melancholic. So, yes, it would have been nice to have a bit more time with him to answer some more questions that even we have.
Did you know everything?
Did I know everything about what?
Everything he said.
About Melancholic being your grandmother, or?
That's one thing.
I did not know, but I did suspect that you might have some connection to her, seeing as that you are not 100% human. Your elven heritage in some way might connect you, but who am I to make an assumption of that, especially given the number of elves there were. But I figured it might be something along those lines, seeing as how all of you are connected in some way to the city here.
Well, it doesn't seem like sticking around here will do us much good. Skeech, you may have been right. Like he's still like rubbing at his head, like he can't quite pinpoint where that came from. To be honest, I'd like to be out of this room. I'd like to be out of here. I'd like to be gone, if that's okay.
Might I counsel you a bit?
Please.
You are now heading to the Leapers, yes?
He seems to be like befuddled. Like it's hard for him to concentrate and think currently.
Echo. Okay, thank you. I will not press you too hard on this. Do be wary. I know Yip Yip will guide you well, but the Leapers are very upset recently. It appears they have been clashing with what may have been left of the Urgil.
Yes.
It seems to have upset them a bit. Yeah, definitely on the warpath on that.
We prepared for this option. We will keep it in mind.
Well, what a strange coincidence that our two enemies are fighting each other.
It was very common for them to engage each other, but not to go as deep into their common territories as is recent. But
Attaboy, Steve. I mean, well, we could chalk it up to blessing of the one God.
the tunnels on the Leaper side are not like what you encountered by the Urgil. The Leapers are much more connected with nature than the Urgil, which do a sad mockery of your human constructions. They tend to incorporate more plants, I guess would be a better way, or fungus, to do their bidding. And toxins are their very favorite tool. It might be wise, Yip Yip, if you were to lead them as close as you can using the sewers and take the egress and the warrens and head over to the pumping station that way. Do be wary. The perfected are out there.
I know.
The what?
It might be best if we allow Yip Yip to explain that to you. Maybe.
Vahn hands his book over to Ekho. Take this down for me.
As she as I quickly tried to flip open my book that is way too full now. You said the perfected, right?
Mm-hmm.
The House of Wellness was
taken over and kind of turned into a really scary place after the city fell. The perfected are the physicians' abominations.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it.
Yeah.
But if you've got any more details.
I mean, they hunt for any creature they can find and bring them back to the House of Wellness to turn them into a monster. I saw a kobold that was like a spider once. And it was eating goblins. Not fun.
Yes.
Is there an end goal for them, or do they just do it for fun?
Well, they're servants under, the Dark Queen.
So innovation, then.
It is my assumption that her 3 lieutenants are all vying to build her the best army for whatever intent that she has, whereas the bishop breeds an army of the undead. The Forge Master creates mechanical creatures.
And the
Constructs.
physician makes monsters.
Be wary of all, particularly in the area that you're going to be in. The perfected would be the ones that you would most likely encounter.
All right, well, great.
We should have a strict no splitting up for this. We can't have anyone getting separated, isolated, or captured.
You would likely not see them again if that was to happen.
I agree.
What do you know of her intentions?
I do not know exactly what she's planning to do, but one does not amass the creatures that she has if she's not looking to expand out past these walls. And given her dislike of humans, I don't believe that Newtown will be safe for terribly long.
In some way, it really doesn't matter what her plans are because we must stand in her way one way or the other. Our cause is righteous. We will smite her down with the power of one God at our side.
I don't mean to break up your sermon, but it is good to know the goals of our enemies so we can get there before them. If we're always reacting, we will lose.
I 100% agree. We don't even
Fair
know what we're fighting against, essentially. Like, what does she want? What are her plans? What is she doing? What's the goal here? I don't know anything about her intentions. And that bothers me.
I see why that would bother you because of your personal connection. But I think the only way is forward. Gotta go into the city. Answers lie within.
Those are
Somebody
very
has
wise words,
answers.
She
Mary,
reaches out and puts her hand on her little clawed hand on yours.
What's up?
Those are very wise words.
Oh yeah,
I
I'm
do
very
believe your
wise.
answers will be found there.
Okay. Mary, you were asking about their intentions. What I know of the High Elves of the past, perhaps when she was in power, is that they were striving for what maybe they thought was perfection, but was really hubris. Perhaps such imperfect creatures as humans can't stand in the way of that. So, what we see as evil and genocide, she may see as making the world clean.
With mutations?
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. But you have to put yourself in their shoes of how they think.
I mean, that's kind of what the...
She killed her own daughter.
She might have seen a flaw in her. She's evil. We have to destroy her, but
How can you see imperfection in your offspring and not in yourself?
Well, hypocrisy was never lost on the elves.
Skeech, you look like you were about to say something.
It seems like Echo might be right. That's what all the murals did, right? I mean, there were giants, then there were dragons. It just keeps going on.
It's an unfortunate cycle.
If we play our cards right, we can get a spot on that mural.
You already had your spot.
I do believe the Reverend might have missed the purpose of that mural.
I very much hope we do not have a mural made of us.
I pray that should we decide to make a mural, it would be for a completely different purpose.
Yes, for when we destroy the forces of evil and ascend to a new golden age. It's nice to have aspirations.
The dragons with the giants.
They're just gonna keep getting smaller.
And the goblins will inherit the earth.
Speaking of, like, he's like coming off of whatever this is, like taking his hand away from his temple. Now you're asking about goals and what Miss Melisandus has. Well, we have a better understanding, and gestures over to wherever you keep the keystone. We have a much better understanding as to why she needs this to get into this cell, this prison. So if we thought we had targets on our backs before, we have, well, at least now we know why they're there.
And these leapers, are they going to help us charge this keystone?
If the Yurgils did, I assume so.
The purpose for removing the leapers would be to purge the sewers, allowing a much safer egress around the city, and also allowing us to activate the pumps once again to finally balance out the water levels in here, because while the cistern was drained, it is now filling back up at a very high rate, and eventually we'll be back to pre-flood conditions without the pumps.
Can I ask if the Urgils made any weaknesses in the Leaper's defense that could assist us as we infiltrate?
They attacked relatively head-on from what I was able to understand from my scouts. And while it was a very fierce battle, it was relatively filled with folly.
But nonetheless, they're weak.
Much like kicking the hornet's nest, right?
Yes.
Stirring them up.
While they're messing with them in the front door, we go around to the back door. There is a back door, right?
That's why we're suggesting you go to the surface and proceed into the pump station from there.
That's right.
It should greatly reduce your chances of being eaten alive.
But when we do get to the surface, we have to be careful. It's still just as dangerous up there as it is down here.
Hello. My name is the Reverend Goodberry. It's pleased to meet you. Clearly we have never met, because careful is not one of my strong suits.
I thought your middle name was Cautious.
It's hyphenated. It's
Yeah.
careful, cautious.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
It's true. Well, I think it's time to go.
Do you have any, your scouts that you've sent up there, are there any documents, any reports, anything they've noted about these creatures that we could take with us, just to help me as I'm preparing for this?
Which creatures? The leapers?
All of them. Anything you've seen in the city. Something that I can add to my notes.
Well, one of our finest scouts is leading you.
As she digs around for a minute to pull out her own little notebook, I've written down everything I know about the city in my notebook, in my notes, and I've drawn maps and all that stuff. So
You have a section on the creatures and flips through it looking for
yeah,
order.
yeah, there would be little detailed sections on this thing is organized. It looks like a mess, but there's little tabs and everything sticking out of it in every which way. But there's a list of different types of creatures and areas that they're located, and there's different areas circled and everything. This thing is overly complex and detailed, and you can see like little pathways mapped out and everything, and places marked off that have already been scouted.
Amazing. Do you mind if I flip through this for a little while while we travel?
I don't mind at all.
I just want to, as we move forward for whatever's next, I just want to take time to take some of the notes specifically about the creatures and compare them to what I have in my grimoire and just copy and paste essentially things that I think will be beneficial for us.
One of the most common things that you notice that is not in your grimoire are the words run, run away, flee, next to a good chunk of the creatures.
Okay. I just keep
And
flipping.
this will eat you. That's another very common
It's
phrase
not
that's
helpful. I
in
keep
there.
looking for more.
But there are observations on orcs, observations on the gnolls, and other creatures that have been found in the city. Places where some of the more frightening creatures have taken up residence.
Mhm.
The zoo is definitely an area that you don't want to go visit.
Mhm.
The manticores that are
But I
taken
love the zoo.
not anymore. So,
It's an interactive experience.
exactly. There. Again, lots of different notes we can discuss as you hit areas within the city, or we can ask a question. We can refresh those as we move along. But yes, there are notes that confirm things in your grimoire, and some other notes that contain different information. But it's kind of interesting because it's almost like a child's perspective.
Yeah.
On looking at, while it is detailed and is informative, it is definitely from a much more innocent set of eyes than the way your grimoire was written.
Okay. I'll still look through it and add some things appropriately.
While we're taking the time for Vahn to copy down these notes, I want to pull out my alchemy kit. And over the next 10 minutes, as we're kind of mulling over the plan, gonna just reaffirm. You said that they use a lot of toxins and poisons.
Yes, that is their bread and butter.
At the mention of toxins, I kind of remember something, and I start rummaging around inside the bag of holding. But like my whole arm up to like the shoulder is like in this thing.
I'm
As he's
making
doing so,
sure.
there's glitter just spilling out of this bag.
I'm
as
making
he's-
sure I'm not standing next to him.
And the Alpha Mother's looking down at it like,
Oh,
sorry.
I pull my arm out and
It's completely
kind
covered in glitter.
of push the digitation, the glitter away. I'll look into this later.
Very interesting bag you have there, Reverend.
I think I've got enough here. I can make about 3 cure-alls. Might be able to help.
Very handy skill.
Antidotes?
Of sorts. It'll work with pretty much anything. I tried it after the ale once, and that helped. But yeah, I'd imagine I can make it pretty potent. And I guess if you guys have any questions that I might be able to answer about the city, I don't have detailed notes or maps, but I was on the other side for a little bit.
Will we need to be stealthing pretty much the entire time, or are there points where we're at least covered in some way?
The things in there aren't just hunting you, they're hunting each other too, so. I'd imagine being not seen or heard for that matter might be best, so. I don't know if my bombs will be the best thing we can deal with, so.
I might have something that can help with that, but we'll see if we need it.
The fog also helps hide a lot of things. There's a lot of fog over the city usually,
Yeah.
so it should help a lot.
the
But we still
goggles
need to be
help a
quiet. I'm just used to it.
little. I don't want to get used to it.
That's fair.
Anything else y'all are doing before you head out?
You ready to go home? He says, kind of more pointed towards these two.
That's not how I imagined it exactly.
As I'd ever be.
Let's go.
Echo, as you all get from the table, the Alpha Mother comes over to you and stops you for a moment, and she taps on your sword. She says, "When did you get that?"
When they said I was ready to take on my quest, I was finally given one.
No. She points to the hilt. And as you look down on the hilt, you can see that some of the design work that was in there, you'd never noticed it before. There is an elven symbol on there, and the word translates to strike. And she's like, that was not illuminated that like that before. So what have you bonded with this blade?
I started to. I wasn't really sure how to continue it, but I mean, it feels like an extension of my body at this point, so I would say so.
Like it, she's like, well, that is very impressive. Normally, these blades are reserved for very special elven warriors. It's interesting that it allowed you to bond with it. But that's a good sign. You should be able to strike down undead and creatures that are immune to magical, immune to anything that is non-magical in the physical attack. So at this point, you have a +1 sword. So that's plus to hit and damage on that. And again, and like anything that's immune to the non-physical damage,
Upgrades, people.
she steps back. She's like,
New
"Be
swords,
careful
new
up there."
friends.
Thank you. Have you met more people with swords like these recently?
Again, as we discussed before,
Just
the
one?
visitors that we had recently, yes, the old
Okay.
masters that passed through.
I didn't realize these were reserved for elves only. You never told me that.
I get the feeling that he protected you from a lot.
Protected?
I don't know much more past that, but I do believe that you will find the answers that you're looking for very soon.
Okay. And he just kind of takes a big breath and he's just staring at the sword a little more intently than he normally does.
You weren't the only one left in the dark.
We'll figure it out. Slowly, but
Surely, hopefully.
they think their grand plans are bigger than us, but I'm starting to see that we're much more important to all of this than maybe these large stories and murals make it out to be. It's the humans that are the people that make each, he points back towards the murals, each one transition to the other, or the background characters. This whole thing. But it can't work without us.
I feel like we would be so much farther along if they just included us.
Could it be that they thought they, again, were protecting their loved ones, much as you seek to protect yours? If you had a child, would you hasten them into possible death and danger?
Well, it seemed that the danger made it to me either way.
This is true. but
So
would you
how
not
much were
try
they
to
really protecting me by leaving me in the dark?
When you have children, you may see things in a different light.
Trust me, getting initiated in the family business at an early age ain't necessarily what it's all it's crack up to be.
It is good to know who you are, though. You can make your own decisions from there, but knowing who you are, I mean, that's the foundation of everything, isn't it?
Know thyself. I think a bod said that once. It's true, Echo. I imagine that's been difficult for you to not know who you are.
He looks towards the people who he didn't tell this yet, and he gives them a little bit of a spark notes of his life in the monastery and waking up there, knowing nothing, and having to kind of form an identity much later in life than a human normally would.
It's a lot to piece together. That could not have been easy, Echo.
I feel like we're on the path. I just haven't figured out where the pieces are yet.
It seems like we're only getting pieces at this point, unfortunately, and they're not being given to us in the correct order.
No.
I think it's time to stop being given. It's time to take. Go in the city and take what's ours.
Here, here.
I don't think we have much more of a choice.
Should I start leading the way then?
Just before we head out, I just wanted to check, just in case, because apparently, speaking of parents and secrets and leaving clues, I just wanted to see. My father didn't say anything that he wanted to pass on. He didn't mention anything.
Unfortunately not. He was the most familiar of the three, but certainly the least congenial of them.
Shocking.
Oh. He had almost bordered on manic this time, very changed from the last time we saw him.
Oh, well.
Convinced that with these new allies, they could find the weakness they needed to put an end to this.
We are the edge they need, and they don't even know it.
Unfortunately, they are just human, right? Or elf, which means they're mortal and subject to fallacy.
Of course.
I do wish you all the best up there. Please return safely to us. You always have a place of sanctuary here.
Thank you.
And that should do it. Got 3 of these. I'm gonna hold on to one just in case anybody really needs it. I'll run up and help out. But who wants to hold on to the other 2? I'll hold them up.
I can
Doesn't
help.
taste good, so don't sip on it. But
I think only you would do that.
Well, I think
I'm holding on to one.
we need Mary to be
Mhm,
safe among all of us,
Absolutely.
as she's the most adept at keeping the rest of us alive.
I
I'll take
can
one.
move around easily.
My joke, yes.
Do you want me to
Yeah.
answer that?
Maybe me and Damon could take one because we can move
I
around
got
easily.
one more to share.
Oh.
So if you guys want to hold on to it together.
It's
Yeah.
yours.
Okay.
Yep, why don't you take it? Because if we got a child killed on this adventure, then that would be very negligent.
That would be a terrible mural.
Yeah, it would not look good.
Could go right there.
Let's not contemplate that.
Above the dinner tables. Just
Not that young.
Don't mean any offense by it.
The way they do years,
I guess in
it's not the same. They've been treating me like a child for a while, and it has some advantages. You get free candy.
Truth be told, Skeech, you've become a child multiple times. The voice.
Wait, you think I want to do that?
I guess
Just
I may
get
have,
you in
missed,
half price.
may have confused how well you sold it for your own.
Well, the options
Enjoyment.
are be a kid, get killed in the street.
It's quite the easy choice.
Yeah, I thought so.
and it kind of comes naturally.
Please don't.
That's fair.
All right. Any last things you're doing before you head out the door?
As we're leaving, I'll just stop Mary for just a quick moment as everyone's kind of out the door, and I'm just gonna whisper quickly, kind of out of a hushed tone. Mary, this keystone is something extremely important. We know that. If I go down, I think you should take it.
Okay. I'll do that.
You know where to find it. And he'll just kind of push past you and keep going.
All right. Out of the hive, you all progress back up the elevator first, and then to that crawling tunnel, which what you all have noticed at this point is that apparently there's been a little work done since the last time you all were here. And they've made the egress somewhat easier for you all by enlarging the size of it, but also allowing the traps to be pulled back out of the way and then slid back in after you. So apparently somebody has been keeping an eye out for you on that.
Love what they've done with the place.
A little less painful on the knees and back as you
Thoughtful.
make your way out into the sewer system itself. Again, the water is a little bit higher than you remember the last time you were here. Looks again, as she had said, the cistern seems to be filling back up again, which is bringing the water levels back up. Still has that very damp, cool air down here, but it is a very constant temperature within the sewers as you begin making your way, as best you can tell, to head into the warrens from where you are would be a east-northeastern jaunt through the sewers, and you're skirting the edge of the Leaper's territory, according to Yip Yip, as you all begin moving. And finally, you come to a spot where Yip Yip stops, and there's a semicircular recess along the curved wall of the sewer. And it reaches back about 4 feet from the edge of the walkway where you all, so you can step off the walkway and into this little room. Not all of you at once, but 2 at a time could possibly fit in there. And there is a thick black rung ladder that is attached to the wall that comes out and goes all the way up. And as you look up the shaft, you can see way at the top is a little bit of light filtering through some holes and droplets of water, a little bit with maybe condensation or something coming down this long shaft from up above. And it indicates that this is the way up to the surface.
We have to be quiet when we get up there. We can't really talk too much. We have to be quick, we have to be quiet, we have to get from point A to point B as fast as we can, okay? I'll lead the way. You just follow after me.
I will cast Pass with 0 trace. There's no room for mistakes right now. So.
Well, if it is leading, then you go with my blessing. Touch her on the shoulder, so you can get advantage on stealth checks.
Yeah, so before we head up, it's gonna sound kind of morbid, but if I die up there, I can't really tell you what happened. And it's not gonna be pleasant to talk about. Yip, if you want to hear this, you're part of the team, and you're right. But with your position, I'm not sure that you want to.
Skeech, are you talking about what
Yeah.
Versigallus
Yeah.
showed you?
My position?
Well, yeah, with your old buddy over there.
She looks so confused right now. Like this is going right over her head.
Versigallus showed me something.
I mean, I don't know why. I can still listen.
All right, you were all here. I offered that out.
It's been noted.
Can we also note that no one is gonna die, okay? Echo?
Yeah, about that.
Skeech, I'm quite worried.
Yeah, it's been a little bit for me to mull over. When you said that it's our turn to clean up kind of the mistakes, Echo, and Reverend, when you were talking about all being part of their plan, I think you're right. Because if he was telling the truth about everything, there really isn't a backup plan. Not for him, anyway.
What do you mean, Skeech? What did they show you exactly?
Well, so malice in this is operating in the city, and I don't think it's more that Versigallus won't interfere or can't. No, I think it's more of it doesn't work. Or it won't work, rather. I don't know exactly.
I mean, like his magic?
He's already seen the outcome.
Yeah,
And he showed it to you?
I think
What is it?
the end,
If he,
as far as he can see.
if we don't do this,
I don't think it works.
so we're going into a losing fight.
At the end of us or the end of him?
But like the end of maybe just the city.
That
Like
could be the end of this conversation, honestly. It made me feel bad. It's where his vision ends. And it's coming from him. So I think that kind of solves itself in a way.
For the love of one god, be straight!
He's dead. Or going to be.
He showed you the end of what he's capable of viewing.
So
How did it
I
happen?
think he's not aloof because he doesn't care. He just knows, kinda. It doesn't matter for him.
Would be sort of freeing. Do we think that has to do with the fact that we ought to be filling this keystone with souls?
I don't know if he's trying to buy time. In what I saw, it was just a glimpse, but I got to see what she's capable of.
Is he the last soul?
I don't know. I just saw from his point of view, and then it was over.
did she kill him in the vision?
Well, it ended pretty abruptly.
Oh, good. Good.
But you didn't see who gave the killing blow?
Oh, I did. I'm pretty sure he's gone. It's, I really don't know how you feel about this information with your family after I kind of laid into him, but
I
Yeah.
mean, it's fine. I'm just having an identity crisis, but it's fine.
Yeah, get in line.
well,
I think 3 of us probably nod. At least.
Yeah.
well, I like you for who you are, whoever that is, anyway.
Thanks.
Skeech is right, Mary. No matter who our parents are, they don't make us who we are right now. And before you knew that your grandmama was Melancholic, well, you did your best. You helped people. And, well, are you still going to do those things?
Yeah.
Well, then, that's all you can do.
Yep, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's a lot to process, but it's okay.
You probably shouldn't talk about that with the rest of them. Don't know how they'd take that.
The alpha mother likely already knows, if I had to guess.
Yeah, she knows a lot of things she doesn't feel like sharing all the time.
What would be the
That's
point of him sharing his death with you?
I don't think he had a good argument for what I was saying, and then he ran away. So
I mean, it's a solid strategy.
die.
More like death in this case. You know,
Yeah, but
like,
he made me watch it through.
No,
It's,
that- okay.
it's-
Oh, in
it's
that
hard
case,
to
yes,
rebuttal, very much.
Mhm.
Behind you, in the water, bubbles begin coming up. And as you all notice the bubbling action happen,
We're in the sewer.
these,
So
these 2 clawed hands grab the edge of the sewer line, and Steve rises up out of the water.
Or the
and
Venus. Yeah.
Oh no!
Steve's little glowing dongle
Yep.
flashes very happily at the Reverend and begins.
what Steve is trying to say is.
Mary King.
Sure. I'll cast tongues.
Tongues. All right. Steve is recounting their great drive to remove the Leapers and is very proud to announce that all of the Urgil are now dead except for herself. And they all died gloriously, taking out as many of the Leapers as possible. But Steve wanted to stay and serve you because she felt that was the best way to do things. Although she was injured in the process, she's now recovered from most of those wounds. She probably shows off several scars that she has. But somebody needed to let you know that your servants have done their part for you.
First off, I need to know, point of fact, when we cast tongues, is Steve speaking human, or northern, or can I speak Urgil?
Oh yeah, who'd you cast on Steve for the reference?
I believe you cast it on Steve, correct? You didn't quite
Yes.
announce.
Okay, that's fine.
So currently Steve is speaking northern, I believe, to you.
Say no more, fam. Well, Steve,
Oh shucks.
you have done your righteous duty in service of the one God, and now I think you can rest.
How many are left?
Oh,
Are you gonna kill
oh
him?
no.
No, I can take a nap.
Oh no.
Oh,
I have been waiting to serve you.
How many are left? Eight.
Did
Probably
any of
alive.
your group make it?
Oh, well, no, just well, there was one, but he was injured, so I ate him.
Well, then,
No.
the bards will sing the songs of their glory. Now on, what song that will be? Can Steve tag along with us?
How many of the Leapers did you kill?
We killed lots,
That's good.
minis.
With a rule that you cannot eat any of us ever.
Even if you're dead?
Good thinking, Mary.
Yes, no,
No.
no eating.
Yeah, no eating of any of
What if
us.
they're injured?
The
No.
one God commands it. No eating us. All right. Well,
Even them?
yes, they are friends, not food.
You're going to eat them later.
No, I feel like.
I will make sure no one but you eats them.
Do you sure this spell works?
That's
Because I don't feel like they're understanding.
And that's exactly how they talk, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Just
All right. Well, all right. Well, come on then.
Failure in intelligence, not failure
gotta be
in the
quiet.
film.
I don't like how they're looking at me.
Steve, I swear. Look at them funny, and you're out of the club.
Steve's eyes pointing in opposite direction. Bugging out of their head. One of them kind of rolls around, that rolls back over.
If you
kinda
hurt me,
looking
you
at
won't
the
have a
group
guide
like-
to the city.
Oh, thanks.
I don't think anyone saw this coming, Reverend.
Well, let's go
And off we go, I guess.
while I make a plan to figure this all out.
All right. So, all of you begin progressing up the rung ladder. So it's Yip Yip first. Who's coming up behind Yip Yip?
I will.
All right. So Damon and Yip Yip, as you all are the first ones heading up the rung ladder itself, we'll deal with that. Basically, as you begin to ascend the ladder, the temperature is dropping the further up you go. The iron is getting colder and colder in your hands until you reach the very top of where the ladder is. And it's actually very surprising that it's not rusted out, given the age and the fact that there's been no maintenance on it. So nice, impressive construction on that, but that's kind of lost to you at this moment. As the top looks to be a little bit clogged with some stuff, you can kind of see out some of the holes. Looks to be very gray out there, very dim light filtering its way through at this point in time. And again, this close to it, you can feel the cool air dropping down through the tunnel on your face as you look out.
Yip Yip is going to, before even touching the thing, basically give like a little quiet symbol to Damon over there, and
Damon?
basically like try to
Hard
listen
gone.
up there to try to hear if she can hear anything
All right.
before she even moves the thing.
So you guys, I'll tell you what, let's do a perception check with advantage. That way, I'm assuming the two of you.
I have the look of who do you think I am on my face.
Slightly insulted.
Makes you want to hit something hard against the ladder.
Yeah, a little bit.
I forgot to pop my dice tray.
That's okay.
We
Let's
do
go ahead and get a
dice
roll.
here.
You said with advantage.
Yes, please.
I'll do these two. That is 8.
8. You feel very confident that there's nothing up there waiting to
Nailed
eat you.
it. The dice
at the office.
do not like
Uh-huh.
me today.
Uh-huh.
I can say that much. And Yip Yip would hesitantly, begin to move it very slowly.
So usually when you would go do this, there would be 3 or 4 of you up here pushing on the super heavy grate to move it. Right now, it's just you, and you're like,
Oh, I'll help.
gonna climb up past
Can you
Damon.
help me, please?
Oh, I thought you wanted me to be silent, and then I'll start helping push it open.
How big is this ladder?
You
I love
could
heavy
probably
Damon.
squeeze people side by side, but basically everything would be at a disadvantage at that point. Now, Yip Yip and Damon can squeeze with still some comfortable room there.
That's funny.
So the two of you together have enough strength to slide it over. Go ahead and I'm going to say give me a strength check on this.
Who's gonna be rolling the strength check?
Damon's our powerhouse here
Oh
currently.
no. I mean, yeah.
What is your strength mod?
Don't worry about it.
Is it a negative like me?
Don't worry about it.
You guys got this.
Just like me. Yes, so that's an 8.
All right. Damon
Nailed it
and Yip Yip,
again.
you hear this. And now the cool air is really coming down because, again, it was partially clogged before, but now you have a nice view out. And it looks, like I said, incredibly overcast. You can see a little bit of
Wow.
buildings around you from where you are in your hole.
Yeah.
Nothing has come in to eat your heads. But again, you're not out of the hole. You're still down below the surface.
Yip Yip would very quickly and quietly go most of the way up, and then just barely peek her head up and out and around.
I'm just gonna look down the ladder at everybody else and just be like,
Yeah, like she basically peeks her head up and she's like,
Those of you at the far bottom have no clue what's going on. There's just a bunch of butts and legs in front of you.
I
hey, I
like,
look down. I look down.
I'm down at the bottom, or the back of the group with Steve, I suppose.
Steve and Sky.
And I am, while it looks like it's going to be a minute
I'm
up
gonna
there,
ri-
I have no
I'm
idea
gonna
what's
ride
going
Sky
on.
up
I'm continuing to
the elevator.
root in that bag of holding, just like, I presume just like handfuls of glitter, pulling them out and
Absolutely.
dumping them on the floor.
Steve is staring at the glitter like,
that
Right.
could not taste
Yeah,
and then
whatever,
Steve
go ahead.
smiles. There's all this glitter all over her teeth.
Surprisingly topical with microplastic pollution for fish.
Yep.
Good job.
But
We're
yeah,
all on top of the
Redo
I-
hazards here, yes.
would it be a separate perception check for me to when I'm looking up to see if I see
Yes,
anything?
as you poke your head back up and around.
Is this by chance edible glitter?
That is a 13.
13.
Specifically to
You do not see anything currently around you, Yip Yip, that looks like it's going to hop out and eat you.
Any sort of quick spot she can dart into?
Absolutely. Again, it's the Warrens, an area that you're familiar with, so out you go and probably right up against one of the buildings.
Or in between one of the buildings.
Or into the dark, scary alley, absolutely.
Barely in the dark, scary alley.
All right, out into the dark, scary alley.
I'll sneak out.
All right. So, Damon, since you were the first of the rest of the party that has not seen this before, as you step out and see what's going on here, it is your first time ever actually getting into Granitegard itself. And judging by how closely these structures are around you, again, you know this is very much a low-income section of the city. They are tightly pressed to one another. There's a lot of leaning in on the buildings as they've kind of settled and things along those lines. Not a lot of regulation on the construction around here. And most of them are 2 or 3 stories, and quite often it looks like the upper floors were very shoddily attached to the lower floors, and sometimes maybe even decades after the original building itself looks like it was built. There is a cobblestone street that is all around you here, and it looks like to your east it runs about 300 feet. Actually, to tell you the truth, you can't even really see that from here. You can see it go down and get dark that direction, because all around you is a thick, heavy fog. Beyond all that, the temperature has suddenly changed dramatically. Again, it was about a relatively constant 60 degrees down in that sewer, and as you climbed up, it was falling. It's got to be somewhere close to 30 degrees up here, because you can see along the ground anywhere there's been moisture, patches of ice have formed, there's frost, and there is again, heavy fog in the air, and even the water in the air is almost ice crystals the way it feels on your face. Any exposed skin instantly is super cold. It's just what's that?
I said wonderful.
Wonderful, yes, exactly. But worse than that, again, the fog itself restricts your vision to maybe 100 feet from where you are. It is also playing with the acoustics, and sounds are very strange within the fog itself. And the air itself has this really nasty scent of decay, like the fetid odor, probably arising from the mildew and the fungus as the buildings around you are decaying. But it's mixed with these musky smells that permeate the air as the wind moves just a little bit here and there, more than likely from the creatures that live within the city. But the worst part is you can almost taste it on your tongue because of the moisture in the air. And at this point, what are you doing?
Well, I'm shivering. First off. Second,
This way.
I'll look for Yip Yip and I will sneak over there.
All right.
That was
Sneak,
two
that's
sneaks.
advantage.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Same way.
You go ahead and give me your sneak. Not with advantage, though. You
sneak.
can say it twice.
That's the
Are
other
you-
You can always roll twice, and
30
we'll take
feet
both
of me.
those rolls and see what happens.
And now you understand why Yip Yip was wrapping herself
Am
up
I
so much
within
before
30
we left.
feet of Echo?
Technically, yes, you would be.
Technically.
Damon, two sneak, two curious.
29.
Yes.
Sorry.
With the pass with
Zero
zero
trace.
trace.
Thank
you.
Yeah, sorry. You are able to move soundlessly into the shadows with Yip Yip so well that Yip Yip loses track of you as you sneak right directly towards her, and then next thing you know, Damon's behind you, like leaning forward. Yip Yip, you're like, where? Oh, yeah. And who's our next individual out of the sewers? So I think the rest of you all are coming out now, one by one. So, Reverend, you
actually-
bring up the end. Actually, Steve, come up behind you.
So I reach and grab like one last handful of glitter, toss it, shove it back, and start climbing up the ladder. Motion up to Steve. Come on.
Steve begins going up the ladder itself, which was not designed to handle a creature of Steve's size. And Steve's being... She's moving her way up the ladder.
I'm on Sky's back, just
Unfortunately, Sky is
Booper
down at the
knows.
bottom, not able to figure out how to get up the ladder.
okay. Start.
You didn't plan for that, huh?
So,
Ladders are my weakness.
Do you have rope?
the rest of you are out now up on the cobblestone, looking about. Again, it's a very, very decayed, older section of the city.
Do you want me to try and carry her up?
Could you please?
Yeah. Oh,
I
absolutely,
can help.
absolutely.
I can
Okay.
make a
Oh, great.
harness if you just want to do that.
That would be fantastic if we have the time.
Are they just standing out in the middle of
Yeah.
like?
They're-
Are you guys gonna come
Oh,
over
I'm
here,
still in the
please?
sewer.
Oh, you haven't come out of the
Can you
sewer?
help?
No, I'm with
Oh.
Sky.
Can you get Sky by yourself?
Um,
So you're yelling up and down.
Maybe
Yeah.
if we can, maybe we
Can I-
can do
Please
together.
be
Yeah, okay.
quiet.
Can I see over to Anna?
Absolutely.
Start tying rope.
I'm not going to make you roll. You rolled a 29.
I'm gonna tap you on the shoulder.
Screams.
I'm gonna look at Echo. How much does Sky weigh?
I give an exact weight in kilograms.
In kilograms? Oh,
Yeah,
well,
so
you're going to have to...
unit of
What
measurement.
does 210 pounds translate to?
I have no idea.
Echo
Whatever
does.
that is.
You can always use a British measurement of
What?
stones.
Can help you.
210 pounds.
Okay. Anna, how much do you weigh?
How
Like,
rude.
Probably between like
With the
depending on
armor.
like how much protein, you know, and sometimes you've got to bulk up. Between like 170 and 210 probably.
With the armor?
Oh, I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not
Who's
sure.
the second strongest in this group? How much do you weigh?
About 170.
I'm gonna hand the crossbow. Go down, get the dog, grab onto the dog, just shoot it up, and it will go. You'll go with it.
As we're just like standing presumably in the street,
Yes.
I'm just kind of like,
Can you guys move over to the alleyway, please?
We are stealthed. Don't worry.
We are being really loud.
I feel like a check is about to happen, so I'm like,
Can we please
Here,
move to the alleyway?
take some inspiration. Go,
Okay.
go with one guy, and then I, whoop, 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 whoop. Steve, you with me, go over to the alley.
Okay, so I go down and I pick up Sky, and I shoot the crossbow,
Yeah.
and I
Grapple
attempt to, yeah, that. I attempt to come up with Sky.
Go ahead and roll the die.
Okay. What am I rolling?
I
again?
don't believe you have proficiency with crossbow, so it would just be your dexterity plus the 20, correct?
Okay.
15.
15.
Right.
Okay, thank God.
All right, so the crossbow bolt comes up and out and strikes the top of the frame of one of the buildings there, and seems to be wedged securely.
Okay. So we're gonna. How does this work? Is it like?
There are
So I
two.
just,
There appear to
like-
be two triggers
There are
on the
directions on
crossbow.
the back.
There's a button that's got a wolf on it.
I pushed the wolf button.
And he pulled the first trigger, and the bolt went flying up and out.
Okay.
There's another little trigger
I'm
there.
gonna try the other one.
All right, are you holding Sky when you do it?
Yes.
Okay, good choice. So as you pull it, it begins retrieving the line, which in this case is pulling against the anchor point, which is now pulling you up.
All right.
And
great.
go ahead and give me a strength check, please.
Okay.
To climb into the sky.
Mary's in the sky.
Actually, you can use your athletics on this,
Okay.
because this would be a test of strength.
19.
19. All right, you manhandle Sky, who's whining. It's not really loud, but just that sound that dogs make when you're
Right by
making
the
them.
crossbow. Just kidding.
As you hoist Sky up and then out, and then Sky has now joined you at the top of the sewers, and she quickly runs over to Ekho and kind of hides with her tail behind her legs, not like angry at you, but kind of like, she must have done something wrong to be scruff bound.
Oh.
He gives like a mouse a thank you, but in a way like when a parent, their kid does something wrong.
Yeah. That thing's pretty nifty.
So
I
right
do that.
before I climb up, I want to look at that pile of glitter that was next to where the Reverend was.
Most of it's gone.
Steve.
Steve ate it,
Steve.
remember?
I want to take the remains of it and like kind of walk backwards towards the ladder, scattering it on the ground, so I can see if anybody comes down here while we're on.
Ooh.
Done. Well done.
And I just kind of rub it on the walls afterwards.
Ew. It's still pretty much stuck to your hands. You're like, that does taste actually pretty good.
Why is it cheesy?
So when Skeech gets up to the top, he smiles. You can see the glitter on his face. Steve smiles at Skeech. They both have glitter.
Just all in their teeth,
Yeah,
like
all up in their gums and
shining.
Kodak moment.
Science.
Just cut them off.
Before we continue, is it wrong to ask someone their weight? I'm confused. Every time I ask it, someone gets upset.
How do you even check that?
Oh, Damon.
Yeah, how do you check
You
that?
put them on a counterbalance of a rock weighing exactly 1,000 kilograms.
Do you have one of those on you?
Not with me.
Okay, good.
Is it like bad to ask?
It depends on the person. More so, some people take that less favorably than others.
I think in high society it's considered rude, because it's implying that a woman is fat.
Oh no, I
Generally?
just don't want the crossbow can only hold up to 400 pounds. I don't want it to break.
Wait,
I
there's another
understand.
group of people.
It was more so a joke.
I still
Yeah.
don't get it, but okay.
I weigh 23
23 what?
pounds.
How do you check that?
Rocks.
Okay.
Steve picks up a rock and is looking at you like,
Don't
Bad Steve.
do it.
Bad.
I'll hold a different kind of rock looking sea. Just like behind you, like.
Hey, do you?
Steve just smiles at you. Like,
I think they like each other.
Okay, to the building, to the alley, the dark
Come on, let's
area.
go.
Yeah.
Would it be better to take the alleys or the streets?
well, this alley dead ends. You can
Okay.
see, so there's really not a whole lot of regress that you've got. You'd have east and west. From your current position, it would be west.
That we need to go?
Be actually north northwest. You want to head.
Okay, so west, northish.
Okay.
So basically, she flips open her notebook and goes back to her little map, and then quickly draws like a little path, sits there staring at it for a moment, and then closes it, wraps it back up, stores it back in her pack, and she's like, okay, this way, just we move quick and we stay quiet. And then off she goes. Starts to lead the way.
All right.
And stay close because fog is thick.
You might want to rub some dirt on yourself. There's still gnolls in here.
We should all hold hands.
Okay.
It's a great idea.
I think the sewer smell helps
I
a lot.
Do it. Oh gosh. So I hold the person's hand in front of me, and then I.
Steve is just looking at the reference, so happy right now.
It's not that big of a fog.
I've
feel
got like
comforted.
Vaughn's hand and Damon. I'm trying to like swing between them.
I look in my rummage through my stuff, and I find like a little like a diadem that I stole, and I tap the gem with the light spell, and I put it on my head.
That is like a spotlight in the
Not gonna be able to see where we're going.
That's like a
From down the direction that
That's
you
what
were
you
supposed to be traveling, you begin hearing footsteps in the fog, kind of crunching on the cobblestone and the ice.
2 footsteps.
You would have to make a perception check. on that.
Immediately activate.
Can
the
I
light.
shove everybody into an alley?
13.
Now, I
The
believe
macho man
with
roll that
I'm
die.
pretty sure.
now
we
I
got
believe
that.
with Sky, don't you get advantage?
Oh, for
On-
hearing. Yeah, you're right.
Yay.
Okay, 14.
14. Wow. Well, you're pretty sure there's at least one set of feet walking towards you.
I'm imagining like basically a pogo stick, like
No, like one set of feet,
Oh, okay.
not like
I think
one.
he's got a peg leg. Hold on, he's got a peg leg for sure. Just
Can I roll
Sounds like
perception as well?
Elm.
Yeah, you can roll perception.
see it.
9. That was
9.
great.
Oh, we're
Yip Yip
rolling,
is
guys.
too panicked at this moment to even.
Yeah, no, she
put it
basically
together.
just grabs
You're
whoever's-
imagining hordes of things coming for you at this
Yeah,
moment.
Yip Yip just basically grabs the 2 closest people
2 feet.
and starts dragging them to the
Back in that
alleyway.
little alleyway again. Steve.
And basically just like let them pass.
All right, into the alleyway. You all go, and the footsteps they start getting closer and closer as something is walking towards you all. And slowly,
Get out
out of the
my
fog,
shield.
this shape begins to materialize. And at first, when you see them, there's this hat that they're wearing. Looks broad-billed hat, short top on it, and this massively long snout. Looks to be maybe a trench coat looking outfit. Appears to be a backpack or something.
God.
And again, as it's drawing closer, more details begin to make their way as the fog is again, less of it's between you and them. And what you see is this, you get an impression that it is a man just by the gait that it carries. And at this point, they seem to be in no great hurry as they close in on the area where you all are. And they are clad in black from head to toe. The outfit, again, appears to be leather and cloth. Midnight black. It's so black it almost seems to absorb any of the ambient light around it. It's hard to see a lot of the details on the outfit itself. Again, it's a very large, wide-brim hat that he's wearing. It swallows up most of his head. And again, this long, beaked mask with his goggles that obscure the eyes. So you can't even see any details in the face. It even covers the back of the head so you can't see any hair. It's knit very tightly.
Is this who I think
It is one of the perfected, absolutely, on that.
Yep.
And again, that mask is almost like a bird-like features to it and the leather gloves that they wear cover their hands. It goes all the way up to the elbows, disappears inside the arms of the coat itself. And they are carrying in their hand a small device of some nature. It looks to be metal and wood with these 3 purplish glowing gems towards the front of it. And as it's walking, it's just kind of drifting it back and forth.
Can we make an Arcana check to see if I know what that is?
You can definitely do so.
Do I recognize it at all?
This is what they use to try to pick up targets, prey, within the fog.
Do I know any bit about how it works?
Yeah.
Or have I seen?
You've seen it. You don't exactly understand how it works, but it seems to detect living things.
So
what did you roll for?
you watched
It
Yip
was a dirty 20.
Yip
Dirty
Yip
20?
Yip Yip was completely quiet, but you watch like her kind of hackles raise as she's like starts basically shoving everyone back into the alleyway as far as possible.
All right. I to motion to the front of the alley, the entrance to the alleyway, and I wave my hand, and now, whatever the material of the buildings are made out of, it just extends across from one end to the other.
All right. The individual continues to walk towards you all. You don't really know what it is, Vaughn, but one of the things that you do notice, though, is it seems to have a little bit of similarity to the glowing gems that you saw on Theod.
If I were to attempt to dispel magic on that artifact, would that have any effect?
It would be something you would have to attempt to do.
I'm gonna attempt it.
How quiet is dispel magic?
It doesn't say
It's
anything
you're
about the
invoking a
noise.
prayer. It is a verbal component.
Yeah, so it would be audible, and it could attract attention.
Could I whisper it?
Stop working.
You could attempt to try to disguise what you're doing, so it sounds more like background chatter.
It'd probably be stealth, though.
But Reverend has dropped a
I've
an
already,
illusion in front of you.
I already whispered something because I also use verbal components.
Oh, perfect.
Would I be able to offer that we all stealth? I don't know. Just a thought.
Well, it looks like that device is tracking us wherever we go.
Oh, I didn't say that out loud. I was saying that as myself.
No, what I'm saying is that Yip Yip is basically just telling you, just hide, stay quiet.
We don't know what it's doing.
As you all observe at this point, as you're trying to figure out what to do, it walks over to the open sewer and begins waving its little device over that, and then tucks it into a little pouch on its belt, grabs the sewer lid and drags it very loudly back over into place with one arm. Didn't seem to phase it at all with the weight. Stands back up again and then begins pivoting very slowly, does a whole 360-degree turn, just scoping out the area. It is a painful amount of time that is passing. You all are almost afraid to breathe. That might make too much sound. And then it begins to walk back the direction that it came and disappears into the fog.
We're good now.
What was that?
That was one of the perfected. One of the more normal looking ones, I guess I should say.
It looked very perfect to me.
That thing that it had.
don't-
We've seen those gems before, but what was it? What was it doing?
I don't know much about it, but I know it detects living things.
Interesting.
Don't know how. I've never gotten my hands on one. I've never really gone up and tried to
Heartbeat?
steal one before.
Maybe.
I just assumed it was some type of magic.
We go jump him and take it.
I was thinking the same thing.
I'd rather not. Can we just keep
I
going,
wonder if we could
please?
use that to our advantage.
But I want to say this. If we do, I want those lenses.
What does he look like under that mask, do you think? Is he
Nothing
human?
pleasant.
Nothing pleasant.
From the way the two of them basically share the exact same phrase, looking at you, they're like they don't want to apparently know what's under the mask. 'Cause you could feel both of them are afraid I mean, there's no disguising at that point. They don't want anything to do with those creatures.
Well, I'm a very curious person.
I'm kind of explaining what's going on in the situation to Steve. Like, oh yeah, so they're afraid of that thing.
You want to know what's
Oh.
under there, what he's capable of? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
no. Maybe later.
Anything that would give more information is something I'm interested in. Because, yes, I feel like if I armor myself with information, then I can more appropriately react.
Here's an idea.
I had a very similar idea. It hasn't worked quite that well so far, though.
Let's get all the information when we're not walking in a death trap.
Yes. Can we
Agree,
can we
Dane.
keep going to where we need to go?
That's right. On to a new death trap.
Smaller rooms in one giant building.
Just rather get off the street, so let's please go.
A smaller death trap. That's fantastic.
And I'm assuming, I would take the lead again.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and I would say, since you're taking the lead there, you are the one that should roll the perception for me on that.
Can I argue it would be an advantage because I have
Absolutely. I'm sure everybody's senses are on high.
19?
I'd like to be towards the back of the group, also just like making sure that nothing's coming up behind us, or just
All right. As you all are moving along through the through the warrens here, it's a slow, arduous journey. You're not looking to try to make a lot of noise, trying to just stay at a nice, steady, quiet pace as you move through. And the cobblestone does not help with that. But the only thing that I can say that is to your advantage again is the fog helps muffle sounds and very much changes your perception of where sound is coming from. Also, the fact that the buildings are pressed in tight around you does muffle and doesn't carry the sounds quite as far. As you reach one of the intersections, there is a change in the air around you, a sudden shift where the wind begins to blow in hard from the east, and very quickly the fog dissipates with this very cold, bitter bluster that's rolling in. And as it does so, as the fog is pushing away, you can see heavy clouds are rolling in and very quickly blot out the sun, making it almost like a early twilight. So that there's not a lot of heavy light penetrating into the city itself. But given where you all are standing, you, for the first time, are able to actually see the city around you a bit more, the taller structures from where you stand in this open area. And along the city walls from this side, you can see that cloud cover that you saw looking from outside in does not extend out into the city. It literally runs along the walls very unnaturally, top of the city walls. And as you're following this and looking over, your eyes drift over towards the mesa. And for those of you that live here in Granitegard, this is a shock to you. For a moment, you can't put together what it is you're seeing. And then you realize that the entire side of the mesa that faces the city has blown out into the city itself. And where that mesa portion stood before is this massive black iron sphere that very closely resembles the metal that you had given to little Tom. And again, it is larger than you even expected. It seems to take up most of the interior of the mesa and is buried obviously deeper into the ground than where the mesa that you're used to seeing as far as the level of the city goes. Now, as amazing as that is, as your eyes begin to churn, you catch something else in the distance towards where the castle sits, and there's this cone of almost anti-light radiating up into the heavens itself, and it starts as this deeper blue, and just as it passes above the rooftops, it begins to actually, as it stretches out towards the cloud, shift into this very sinister purple with currents of black churning almost like a whirlpool in the midst of it. And while the distance makes it impossible for you to really confirm what you think you're seeing, but there's thousands of shapes swirling within this mass up into the clouds above whatever that central location happens to be. And then the weather begins to shift again after a few moments, almost as if you were given a glimpse on purpose, just the way the weather worked out. And the wind stops blowing and the fog starts to roll back in again into the city. And after a few moments, you're back to the same conditions that you had before.
Has that ever happened before?
That has never happened to you before, no.
Can I make
Now-
an Arcana roll for what that giant field of anti-light is that you just described?
Yes, you certainly may.
Can
I'd like-
I grant advantage?
Well, does it have anything to do with Fae, Fiend, or Undead, broadly speaking?
I don't know. You would have to. Would
You
that
have to tell me because it's mechanic wise.
I hate mechanic stuff. What I have to ask, though, is that would that be something that gives you an advantage on the roll, that sort of thing?
Yeah.
So, yes, you would have advantage on your roll.
27.
27. Okay. It is most certainly something to do with undeath. That light is something you have seen before
Where? When?
when you made a deal.
I want to roll religion to see whether the clouds parting give us a glimpse of our foe. It's the work of the holy.
All right, Reverend, go ahead and begin your religious.
May I assist with that?
Surely,
I
roll
was-
with advantage.
Wrong chapter and verse.
We know nothing. That doesn't.
11.
You are
Y'all, my religion's
convinced.
really high.
You are convinced that you were given that glimpse on purpose by the one God.
View provision.
Could I roll nature for the both the fog and all of the just kind of what has this beam been doing to the natural world around us?
Yes, I will allow you to do that, certainly. However, I will tell you, Echo, that you spent most of your time staring at the mesa like some long forgotten fragment of memory in the back of your mind is triggered at the sight of this thing. It's this moments of trepidation when you see it, like your blood runs cold when you see the sphere. And then that passes as everybody is marveling over the light and you shift and look towards it. So what was your roll, please?
Natural 20.
Wow. Okay. So whatever is doing that has very much disrupted the natural order of things. Those are more than likely souls racing about up there.
Oh gosh.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's that part placed.
I'll look towards Mary and Reverend, and I'll just kind of point, and you just see he's pale, just like, those are souls powering that thing.
So,
Could Melisandus be there?
Well, unfortunately, we're going to take a short break and we'll have to find out very soon what that may have to be. Or actually, it may be for another date. But
we should
regardless of that,
probably
we're
go
going to
there
take
and find
a
out.
Yeah,
quick
let's go
break.
right there.
We just roll
We'll just go
up.
knock.
I think that's fine. I
Well,
think
we'll
we
find out where they go when we get back here. We'll see you shortly. Hello and welcome back. And over our break, our adventurers decided not to go commit Harry-Carry.
Uh-oh.
And so, as we had left off,
Did we decide
fog-
I don't
The
think there was a vote.
the fog is rolled back in.
Suicide pact. Suicide pact.
Oh my goodness gracious! So yes,
That's
maybe they
next.
are
Yeah.
going to in this adventure shortly. We'll find out though quickly here. So yeah, the fog's rolled back in. Echo is quite shaken at this point. And what are you doing?
I think we're still following Yip Yip.
Have I seen anything like this in my past?
No, the closest you might come to something you might have read.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Did you say you think those are souls?
I know they are. I don't know
Oh.
how, but I know.
Oh.
Oh, you're talking about the cathedral then.
I point towards the beam in the sky.
Unfortunately, not visible now that the fog has rolled back in, but you do know the general direction.
It's a cathedral. Did you say cathedral? Yep.
Sorry. Yes. As I'm having to flip into my book real quick.
I mean, the services there were boring. I mean, I'd hate to say that this is an improvement, but
The
At least
the bishop
soul
and
stayed in the
all
body.
the
Yeah.
undead and his corrupted taken over the cathedral, and there's a lot of souls above it. I know that much, but I try to stay away from it. Stay.
I got a glimpse of the graveyard once, and it's occupied.
Mhm.
Do any of you know what the sphere is? I looked at it and I remembered.
isn't that where the thing that we're supposed to unlock? Isn't that it?
Seems like what was described to us by Versigallus.
But why would I know anything about that?
That's a great question. What do you remember? Like what?
Just a feeling of dread.
Well, I really want to go, but my instinct says we should fill up this keystone first.
Yeah, I don't think we want to mess with that just now.
One death trap at a time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking right at Dana.
Yes.
Well, yip, continue on, please.
And off she would go, leading the way to the proper
On this
spot
way,
again.
Steve.
All right, so you all begin progressing deeper into the city at this point. Now, as you all are moving through the city,
Okay, by a photon torpedo.
Yeah.
fantastic.
Having a slight camera adjustment.
Yeah,
I
it's
got
all
kicked
right.
during
It
the
happens
break.
like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Part of the joy of doing this live, ladies and gentlemen, is little things like that. But thank you for bearing with us on it. So anyway, back to where we were. So again, you all begin moving through the city, and the fog kind of helping you out with the movement there. Also hiding anything that might also be looking for you in the shadow. So at this point in time, since Yip is leading, again, we talked about with advantage. Give me one more stealth and one more perception roll as you move through.
A stealth and a perception with
Stealth
advantage.
and a perception with advantage, yes.
Stealth is plus 10.
Remember that.
No trace.
Not today.
That would be
Oh my god. I'll see myself out.
trying to do math in my brain.
Hmm.
That'd be a 25 plus.
Okay. Don't worry about that. What is the other one?
25. That's the stealth. That's
That's
the
your stealth at 25. What was your
The other
perception?
one is a 13.
13 or 30?
13.
A total of a 13. All right. As you move, you don't feel that anything is observing you. You definitely move very stealthily. Don't hear too many sounds. Somehow even Steve's massive webbed feet aren't making that much noise. Maybe it's the dropping of the water driplets, that sort of thing that's going on. However, things have changed a tad bit at this point. The fog begins to break up more, and visibility becomes a little bit further from where you are. However, you get little snowflakes, tiny ones that begin dropping down. The first real snow of the season begins falling now. And Ekho, as you're examining it, something catches your eye. Go ahead and give me a perception, Ekho.
Is this sight or smell? Or
This is sight.
hearing? Okay. 16.
16. Ekho immediately diverts from the group and
We had a deal.
heads off.
He's holding somebody's
Yeah, whose hands was I holding? I was number 4.
I don't know. I thought I was holding your hand in her hand.
Okay. Well, I'm gone.
Does he let go?
He definitely lets go.
But do
As,
you?
I would not.
okay, you begin dragging Mary with you.
We all go. We're all holding hands.
This was established.
So as the chain was going this way, it begins to flex as Ekho is taking everybody over this direction. Ekho, unmistakable
What
to
are you doing?
you see an arrow that is wedged into a support beam on one of the buildings.
Is it?
And there's only one individual you know that makes the fletching on their arrows just like this.
Melisandus.
Not quite.
Can I,
The arrows.
Damon, can you help me look at this? I want to see how long this has been here.
Okay.
I need your help.
All right, and I'll let go of Skeech's hand.
I hold on
gonna
to
fall.
Damon's like jacket then.
It's
So
like
that Skeech is hanging out with both hands, so you're dragging Skeech along.
No, I'm not letting go of Vahn.
You showed you had both hands.
No, I got one.
Oh, okay. So, all right. Well,
one of the
more
I'm gonna
tail.
drag both of them over, I guess, with
All
me.
right.
We have a
I guess
deal.
the whole group is being dragged over
Yeah.
now.
You will not.
But I want
survive this.
to look at the arrow and see if there's any evidence of how long it's been here, if it's old, if it's just been shot.
All right. So, using your skills on this, I would say go ahead. This would be a survival, and you can roll with advantage since you know what you're looking for.
That will be a 26.
26. As Echo begins studying the arrow that has, and he pulls it out, he's looking at it, looking at the wood itself. You begin also looking at the area from the direction which it was shot, and you can see where the arrow has come from. And it looks to be a cul-de-sac off from this main area where you are. You would have to go over to it to see anything further, but it definitely was shot that direction and hit this building here.
Without a
It-
word, he just starts walking.
You start
towards
walking. The arrow has certainly been wedged into this beam for several months.
that. Okay.
Okay.
Has the visibility improved?
It's now probably about 150, 175 feet, which is much greater than what you all had before.
I don't think we have to hold hands anymore. But I mean, we can if you want. If you want, just be friends and hold hands walking down the street. But we don't really have to.
Rules is rules, Rizzy.
Explain this.
We should still stick
Echo,
together,
can
though.
you explain what we're doing?
Eyeballs just kind of roll around in Steve's head. You're not really sure whether Steve's 100% on that or not, or whether Steve even was paying attention. Was Steve even looking at you is a really good question.
They were here and they got in a fight. This is Algar's.
Who got in a fight? With who?
I don't know. That's what I need. That's what we need to figure out.
Was there any blood on it, or was
Yeah.
this possibly just a message left for you?
It looks like it's been here for months. I don't see any message, but I know these arrows. No one else. This can't be anybody else.
There's nothing like.
Tied to the arrow or like any.
Could have been a
Good,
miss.
good.
Well, it came from over there. It would only be a quick detour. I just need to see this. I can.
Yes.
I can catch up.
No,
No.
You're staying together. You're
I'm just gonna grip your hand tighter.
I hold up Skeech so they can more clearly say it to your face.
Rules is rules.
And I look down at Sky and I say,
Rules is rules.
Are you still holding on to Damon's
yes, so the
jacket?
jacket's like.
It's
Just like a
really
bunch of
drafty on your
knives.
backside, Damon. Like, oh, that's cold.
Oh,
Skeech, please let go of my jacket.
sorry.
No, cool. Give me your hand.
Aw.
So, how far away is the cul-de-sac?
Bring out the glue.
The cul-de-sac from where you are would be, it's a very short walk. Approximately at this point, I would say the edge of the cul-de-sac is maybe 75, 80 feet from where you are.
Meters.
Just a quick
Yeah.
stop.
Okay.
We can hold hands.
Okay.
We don't need
Alright.
to hold
Right.
Yeah, you can,
We don't
from
need
where
to
you
hold
are, you can
hands,
see where the
but-
cul-de-sac is. You can also actually see
Yep, yep.
into the cul-de-sac itself. Can't really make out a whole lot of detail if you're looking to examine to see what might have happened within there. But from where you are, you can see that there's nothing in the cul-de-sac itself as far as any living creature currently that's maybe out of the buildings. Inside there does appear to be boxes. There's an overturned cart in here. All of them look to be very old, possibly when the city itself was attacked. Several of the buildings look to have been ransacked in here at a much later date, but still many, many, many years since that has transpired.
So I don't see any evidence of Algar.
from where you're currently standing.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Do
yeah.
you want some help looking around?
I would very much appreciate it.
Tell me what I'm looking for.
Any evidence of a
Can I have
fight of an
For
elf?
this, it would be tapping into your tracking skills and stuff. So both of you go ahead. Well, either A, you can do this with advantage, one of your rolls, or B, you both can independently roll.
Survival?
Survival will be the on this one, yes. Actually, no,
Commit
investigation.
investigation inside.
Okay.
You know,
I'll help you.
18.
18. As Vaughn begins to poke and look about to try to figure out what has transpired here, at first you've got questions pieces aren't exactly lining up, and then if you change from where you're standing, all of a sudden as you look across, it really does, the pieces all begin to fall into play. You can see that obviously somebody was looking to set up a camp. They appear to be a armor-clad individual. Obviously, this ranger person that must have had the bow, and another humanoid. They were looking to set up some sort of a camp in one of the buildings here. You can see where they have cleared out a room. Obviously, we're setting up blinders, maybe to erect some sort of security for the night. They were jumped. There was a battle that has happened here. You see blood that is not human, that has dried up. And the reason you can tell it's not human is when the human blood dries up, it tends to have more of that rust color. This blood is black blood, indicating it must have been something like orcs or things along those lines. Very hard to tell exactly. You can see that there was a large feline involved in this, judging by the claw marks here and there that you see, and some pads, foot pads into some of the dirt and the grime. There is a pauldron laying on the ground. Looks to have been knocked off during the scuffle, and there is a lot of drag marks, 2 particular drag marks going towards the north out of the cul-de-sac here, and a set of human footprints dipping through the city itself.
Point out all of that as we find it to you, Echo.
I will pick up the pauldron first of all.
What is a pauldron?
Shoulder to shoulder.
Oh, okay.
Does this look like anything to either of you?
Would I
You
recognize
recognize
it?
it absolutely immediately, and the stamp on the inside of the pauldron
It's my dad's.
is very much manufactured in the Citadel. It would have been your father's.
I just hand it to you.
I hope this is not a bad sign.
It looks like a bad sign.
May I ask if I recognize the large feline at all? Because I've been in the city for so long. Or if I know anything about it.
Go ahead and give me an intelligence on that.
Just flat intelligence?
Just a straight intelligence roll.
That is a 12.
A 12? The only thing that jogs your memory about this was a visit by those former masters that came through. The elven individual had a pet much like Ekho has, but his pet was a pure white tiger or something along those lines, possibly? Snow leopard? You're not sure.
Oh, I forgot about that. She forgot about that, gonna be honest.
It's a good thing the threshold wasn't that high for the memory.
Is there anything, anything written?
It does not look like they would have had time to write anything down.
According to what Vaughn said, it looks like 2 humans got away.
One human got away.
One human got away.
And
Or
then
drags. But you can see here, it looks like somebody else trailed through the city.
Did you see how roughly large maybe I don't know how different in size your fathers were, but would you be able to recognize their footprints?
The big thing that indicates to Vaughn what's going on there is that the armor-clad individual had very specific boots. You can see again that there's boots with mounting pieces at the base where the greaves and stuff would attach to and hold.
Is the
That would leave
armor-clad
impressions.
one my dad?
That more than likely it's the assumption
Okay.
that you're making. You recognize the outline of the boots that Algar would have worn. The
Oh.
third set you don't recognize, and that's the one that has fled.
oh, classic. Wonderful.
Where is he going? Is he Was he
Away?
possessed?
No. This is very on brand behavior.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
But
absolutely.
You've never ran away once. This is who raised you?
Well, raised is a very generous term,
Just
Echo.
because
But
someone-
so it looks like two were captured and dragged north, and
Seems like it possibly yes.
my dear sweet father fled and deeper into the city. Is that? Mm-hmm. I'd really love if I know we have time. We have things to do and tasks ahead, but could we follow and see where these footsteps go?
Mary's gonna step away and puke.
I'll kick some dirt over her puke.
Is he fair?
You said this was months ago.
The arrow was fired months ago. I didn't know they were that far ahead of us. I thought we were right behind them, if I'm honest. But maybe that was a little naive to think that.
We could be finding things out of order.
I never thought of it like that. Would go on.
Maybe this happened before the messages. They could have.
Maybe they made multiple trips into the city.
Maybe your father wasn't right there the whole time for this battle, but could have come back and they could have got out that way.
How long ago did I receive the letter?
For you, from your father, the last time you got that would have been several months ago, kind of tracking about the age that Echo's arrow is.
And my father handed that in the sewers, in person. So, which came first?
Every accounting we've gotten in Newtown has been for 3 people. So, either he's with them, or that all happened before they got to the city, and they haven't been back since.
Directionally speaking, where we believe we need to be heading, where we see the drag marks and where we see the third set of boot prints heading off further, which most closely align with the direction we're heading?
The drag marks would most closely align with the direction that you're heading.
And how off, I guess, to what degree would it be circumventing to go the other way if we were to follow the boot prints?
If you were to follow the boot prints, it would be the furthest diversion from that. It would be more of a north-northeast direction rather than a north-northwest. The other one's almost a due north from where you are.
I know we came here, we have something to accomplish, we have work to do, but this hits close to home. I'm not opposed to following these, to at least see if we get more pieces of this puzzle. We know what's waiting for us here, but I don't think we can delay terribly long.
Okay.
What do you think, Damon?
I'm gonna look at Yip, and then I'm gonna look away. I think finding your friend or mentor and your father's is more important than defeating the Leapers, so.
I can't die fighting frogs if he's in danger, even if it was months ago. So I signed up to do it, so I'll do it, but I agree with Vahn. If we can just take a second, if we don't find anything immediately, it can wait, but not much longer, please.
Okay. As she's quickly flipping through her book now to mark all this and try to figure out, can she possibly assume based on which directions they were dragged, where they were dragged to?
Absolutely. And the answer you don't like at all.
Where to?
The House of Healing.
You see her pull out her book and thinking about it for a minute, and then you watch her face slowly.
It's House of Wellness, my bad. I'm sorry.
House of Wellness, I
Just
know.
wanted to make sure there was
Yeah,
multiple.
no, sorry.
And you watch her face
It's a franchise.
slowly drop into one of dread, And she's like, how old did you say the tracks were again?
Optimistically, a few months.
They lead to the House of Wellness.
Well, they wouldn't have gotten captured. So I mean,
They're drag marks.
they probably escaped. I mean, he's the best warrior I've ever seen. Your father had to have been incredibly adept to fight with him all those years. There's no way one of those things captured them by itself.
They're a lot stronger than you think.
If this is terrible. If you really think that we need to go there right now, if I could make a suggestion. I know that since we've been together, I've grown in my abilities. I've seen all of you grow. This is still something that we should be cautious about. The perfected are the scouts of sorts. We know where one is right now. If you really felt you want to be ready for that flight, that would give you a taste.
Jumping the one we saw.
Before it saw you. Because there's a lot more.
And a lot of...
Know what we're dealing with? That's not a bad idea.
Oh, it is. It's a really bad idea.
Mhm.
But
It's a good idea
It's-
for a terrible situation.
Yeah. Maybe we could collect that artifact he had and use it.
it's not a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea, though.
I also think we need to find your father.
Yeah.
He probably knows a lot more information than we do about where we can find him.
Actually, about that, what direction were those footsteps going in?
Those footsteps would be heading in the direction towards where the courthouse and the arena would be. And that would make sense because that's also the direction of, well, if you choose to share that, we could figure something out on that.
It is... The other ones are heading towards the courthouse or the arena. I don't know if that's of any importance to you.
Is he heading home? Yes, that's back to our old house.
That puts him towards the cathedral.
What?
Could he be
That's not
getting
good.
help? Gathering weapons?
I think we are the help.
Was there a cache at your house? Could you imagine?
It's possible. It's possible, though. I think that if you were going to have like a cache of weapons, it would have been at the warehouses down by the docks. But there was. He did seem really drawn back, so it seems it would make sense for him to want to return home. And I would. And it's possible that he rescued them, but he could be a very driven individual. So if there was something he perhaps thought was more important, I just wouldn't put too much stock or too much hope on that possibility.
Why would your mentor, my father, be traveling with somebody of that sort of character?
Probably a lot of knowledge of the city that they didn't have. My mentor spent a lot of years hidden away, and I'm sure your father was dealing with church politics more than anything.
And he wasn't always like that. At least I don't think.
So you don't think he could help us?
I think he could help us, but I don't know that. I wouldn't imagine that he had launched a brave rescue and saved anyone.
But he could still have useful information.
He could. I think he would. Yes.
How far is it from here?
How far is it from here?
Which one are you heading to?
Her
Where?
house.
Yeah.
It is quite a hike across the city up to that direction. You'd be having to move through the main arteries, probably crossing the big bazaar in the center of town, which will lead you up past the arena district and the courthouse, which you know you don't want to go near the courthouse because that's where the triumvirate is.
Where the what is?
That's what we're to talk about.
Oh,
And then that would lead you up towards where
this
the
is.
rich area is, which a lot of those houses seem to have acquired new residents. And then that would tuck you up by near where the castle and the cathedral sit, which are also very fun places.
Getting to there would be very, very dangerous.
Okay.
We
I,
would.
with everything, want to go and immediately search for them, but based on what you've said, we're not going to find anything useful anywhere close. So if we can deal with these leapers and at least have access to the sewers,
Yes.
we might be able to actually travel pretty quickly
Mhm.
where we need to go.
That's
So-
what I was about to suggest. Because once the leapers are cleared out, then we can just travel through the sewers to avoid most of the problems that were caused by such things, such as the perfected and everything else.
And we
What's to stop the perfected from just going into the sewers?
That's a great question.
Have you ever gone into the sewers?
You've not seen them at all in the sewers. The orcs are probably about the only ones that go down there.
I've never seen them go down there.
Maybe they don't like getting dirty.
I've only ever seen the orcs go into the sewers.
Well, as long as they're not down there, then it should be safe enough. Well,
Do we still want to jump one?
It's not a bad idea, but
I am really curious about that
if it
artifact.
goes poorly, this whole thing fails immediately.
Maybe we do it once we have a place to retreat back to.
Well, hang on.
Yeah.
I think we should study them from afar because we don't know how they work. So if we're loud when we're fighting one, we don't know if others are going to come running. We don't know how strong they are. We don't know what they can do. I think it's a bad idea to jump them.
Even if it goes well, would they come looking in full force if one of their own scouts doesn't come back? Are we causing more trouble for ourselves?
I'm pretty sure I wouldn't even know about that.
Is there anything I
Oh.
might know
Yes,
about that?
between the two of you, with your collective knowledge of the city, individually they're not that hard to overcome. The problem is that the second they see danger, they yell. It's ear-piercing scream that carries a considerable distance, which then pulls in not only the scouting ones, but the more sturdier versions of the perfected.
What I suggested earlier was completely different. With the knowledge I had. We shouldn't jump one. It's a really bad idea because then they'll all come.
They-
Skeech, you feel like it seems like you
I had a dragon in my brain.
mixed feelings about this.
They tend to scream whenever they sense danger, and their screams are loud, unnaturally loud.
Keeps you up at night.
They must be at least part human because when I get in trouble, I scream so loud as well.
I think it's mainly to attract other perfected like them and some of the bigger ones too.
I do have an ability that can keep them quiet as long as we keep them in one area, but I haven't tested it enough, and I don't know if it'll work, but it's an option if we're jumped.
That's fair.
Keep them still if you can. I don't know if that means grabbing them.
Great.
I can't expand it much larger than that, but it might work if we need to.
That's a good idea.
And then after that, you know what also makes things go quiet?
Oh,
Shaking its hand?
yeah.
I think he was talking about stabbing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. So, new
Like,
plan.
you know, they get louder and then they drop off. It's a classic.
Modify the plan. We go deal with the leapers.
we don't really even have to go back to the kobolds after. They'll figure it out as the water level starts going down. And then we head north.
Okay.
We can use the sewers for that.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Let's do that.
To the Leapers we go.
Back on track we go.
As we're leaving, I'm just gonna spend like a couple seconds just staring at those footprints, though.
I hope you know, Yip Yip's like marked all these different spots in her little notebook now, and she's like with like super shaky hands, like maybe here, maybe here.
I'm just like clutching the pauldron.
danger.
Please be alive.
Is
I'm
Steve covered in a
shivering.
layer
It's
of
cold
frost?
out.
Yeah, Steve just
Steve came right out of the water and then into the freezing air. So I want to look.
Right.
How like statuesque does
Steve
currently
seems to be okay,
Okay,
except
good.
her eyes are a little
dry?
dry is not the right word. There's like a little bit of a film, but that's okay. Steve's currently getting a free meal courtesy of Mary.
Steve, our mascot.
Oh.
Hey, there's dirt.
Oh.
What did I?
oh.
I was like, who did you kill?
Greedy.
Should we get going then?
Yeah.
Okay, so Yip Yip's leading the way again, I guess.
I'm gonna keep the arrow too.
Okay.
I pulled
Tuck it
him
back in your
along.
quiver. Moving through the city, again, with the fog, it helps you all. It's not as thick as it was prior to, but now you can see a bit more of a distance, which also changes how the sound is moving about, which actually makes it a tad bit easier for you all. With Yip Yip's experience, it's not too much longer before you come to where the pump station sits, which is nestled just off where the Warrens are. There's a large cleared area, and it's this round building. And you can see several of these streets where the gutters and stuff would be channelized at this point and run over to where the pump station is. But before they get to it, there's this open ring where the water literally races, just drops over the edge like a waterfall down into the pump station below. And from way down in there, you can hear this rock sound, lots of little rocks coming up from down there, echoing about. There are two gantry ways on your side where you are. You can see that would lead over two entrances to the pump station. Right now, there does not appear to be anything moving around you, just those strange sounds from down below.
Would you say this is a pit?
Seems like a pit to me.
Check it.
What? What?
The pit.
We've been
It's
trying
all
to
hit. How many
We've been
days?
dreading
It's
the pit.
been like 27.
We've been dreading the pit since
Yep.
day
Wait.
one.
I'd
What do
say
you
one.
mean 27 days since out of pit?
In game.
In game. In game, we've been, we
What
knew
if-
there was a pit.
What
about
we'll
waiting
discuss
for the
it
pit?
later.
Yeah.
We'll discuss it later.
Urchil. What about the Urchil? That
That was a pool.
What
That was
about
a pool.
Totally separate.
Yeah.
Very
Well, some
different.
sort of- yeah.
Very
We know where they all are. It's Steve.
Yeah.
Cistern's
What
very
about
different than a
the
pit.
Yeah.
It was more of a basin.
Yeah. Sort of a reservoir.
Don't talk about my son. He's right here.
But out of game. But out of game. I have a lot of bombs I could throw into a pit.
let's
we've learned.
get going in again then, I guess. Or planning. Well, we're here now. We're here now. Do you need me to? Well, I should have a rough idea of what this place looks like, right? At least before they move.
You
in.
have never been into the pump station because there was really no major reason why.
That's fair.
I mean, you've been underneath and kind of near where it is, but as far as what's inside to be expected, but you are not hearing any of the sounds that the pump station normally would be making that you have been accustomed to in the past.
It's off right now. I can tell that much, but I don't know what it looks like on the inside.
Do you know who has first-hand knowledge of the cistern? Steve.
But this is the pipe.
You and your warrior band got at least part of the way in there. What's it look like?
So his tongues wore off.
How long does tongues last? Is it like an hour?
It lasts an hour.
At this point, tongues has expired.
Can you
You draw it, Steve.
here, draw us a picture?
Steve still can't understand you. You gave it.
Oh no.
That was the.
Seems like
I told you. You don't listen.
looking very disappointed at the paper that you've fed Steve.
Do you want
And
me
there's
to
a
cast
pencil
it again?
partially wedged in between two of Steve's very pointy teeth sticking in Steve's gums.
Mind?
All right. I'll cast tongues again.
I hope that wasn't important.
Listen, that one was actually just charcoal.
All right, well, let's try this again.
That's good. It'll
What
capture
what's
any
it look
poisons
like
again.
down there?
Steve was like, we didn't get that far. We kind of rushed in from the south, and we killed a bunch there, and then we moved closer to where, well, we're not really sure. We don't really go over there because, well, that's where they are.
It would mean certain death, yes.
All right,
Fought them, and
Like certain. Okay.
do the Leapers take hostages
Do they?
between the two of you?
you can see Steve is really not even understanding what that concept means.
Have I ever seen that?
You just know that kobolds, often
Sounds
captured
dumb.
by them, don't come back.
They usually swallow goblins whole. So
I mean,
doubt that they
kobolds
be-
that were taken by them don't usually ever come back.
Which, speaking of, I want somebody tie a rope around my waist while we're down there in case they.
To
How many of you
Yeah.
think there are?
Mhm.
Steve, what are we thinking?
Steve really stares at you again. You can see the concept of numbers is really not processing currently.
Steve, is there a lot, many, or so much that you are overwhelmed?
A lot of many we are overwhelmed.
Were there more
Sounds
than
like
were there more
all of
than
them.
of you originally, or more of them originally?
It was more of them,
There you go.
but
Well, we
ate,
already knew that.
we ate
because-
plenty.
All right,
But it was
well,
not enough.
Why?
Your number scheme is also flawed. It's not.
All right.
Lots and lots.
Grabs the
Too many.
crossbow and just rakes his hand across the top of it and activates the right. Should we go in?
let's just
I
go.
agree, and I
Let's just
pull
go.
out from my
Oh,
coat pocket the femur bone of a leaper
maybe we
that's crackling with lightning.
Ooh.
should we use that?
Skeech.
All right.
Oh yeah, I'm using this.
Where
Weapon's
did
hot.
you get that?
Goggles down.
He stole from the Urgil.
I took 6 points of damage.
Damn, Skeech takes 3 of those.
Yes.
Subtract the 3, please.
Ooh. What?
A battery pack.
The same thing that you see flare up on Vaughn's arm as he does that
As I
corruption.
reach into the backpack and
You can
start
see
pulling
that
out.
Skeech has a bit of that corruption on his hand as well, right? The same place that Vaughn did the injury.
Is this from Versigallus?
I like to imagine that right now Skeech and Vaughn are just like,
I drop one of my bombs,
Ooh, no.
but it's not active
That's scary.
as my scar kind of.
Steve picks it up and eats it.
Oh no.
I'm gonna get that back one way or another. You figure it out,
This
man.
thing, please.
Do not that.
Put that
I'm
thing
gonna
back
pull
where
out-
it came from.
Skeech.
Yeah.
Wait,
Have any-
I got an
that's a
idea.
great I don't know, actually.
We need that bomb back.
Priorities. Great.
Wait, what
yes.
idea?
I
Bomb.
have an idea. Hey Steve, could you go just? I think I see something to eat over there. Why don't you go just take a look? I see it's a dead animal.
I know how to make him throw up if we need to.
All right. Did he walk away?
But
Did he walk
are
away?
we
Steve
gonna
just
ignore
walked
that?
over towards the direction you were pointing.
All right.
Little fishtails all wagging.
I feel like I solved 2 problems at once. Now hold a minute. Wait a minute. I know you're not gonna like this.
Is this the war crimes part of the episode? He smiles.
I think could you activate the bomb remotely?
No, I gotta put a timer on it beforehand.
The phishing scam.
What if you punched him in the belly real hard.
And he threw up. I could get it.
No, I needed to still be inside of him. I think we tossed him down there. Oh, come on.
Steve from
Steve is one of your followers.
Steve was trotting back all happy and stands next to the Reverend. Again, you're not really sure where Steve's staring at this point because the eyes are pointed either directions and they keep rolling around like
Just give
there's
a
not a lot of
headbutt.
focus.
Steve's gut.
Put a pin in that.
I hope so.
Well, there wasn't a pin, and I think Steve. Never mind.
All right, here's what I propose. We start quiet. When it's time to get loud, get loud. Skeech start
Yeah,
throwing bombs down in there. Damon,
Should we discuss how we're getting down there?
That's
probably
a
walk.
pretty important thing.
Probably a combination of walking and climbing.
Yeah, it's too bad we don't have those Featherfall tokens anymore, huh, guys? Because this is
I'm
gonna
pull
be
out the
a
pouch of endless rope.
Parachute down
Oh.
there.
I mean, I can take me and someone else down there, but that's about it.
We might need Sky brought down there if we're gonna use the rope.
Could we tie the rope around each of us?
And repel.
I mean, they must have paths to get down, because, like,
They can probably jump a lot higher than us, though.
Mm.
They're called the leapers.
that's a very good point.
That also could be one of the
Might have
things
to
where
get
it
a little.
misleads.
What if we get a little bit closer
not
to kind of
misleaders.
sky?
Yeah, we should probably get closer and take a look.
Or just go
You
in
can
swinging.
sneak
What?
Now, are you guys
Alright.
going to throw yourselves off the opening that seems
Absolutely.
to drop straight down? Or are you going to take,
No.
are you gonna take the little bridge things that connect to the round
Aim for
building
the
that
bushes.
seems to be the pump station itself?
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you guys? Can you get
Can
a
I-
closer look?
Am I able to see how far down the pit is? How many feet?
I'll give you a telescope. I'm carrying that.
Go ahead and give me a perception check on that, Damon.
Enhance.
Yes.
7.
A 7.
Are you sure
Unfortunately,
you're
the
using it the right
darkness
way?
prevents you from seeing down that far.
There's a cap on
Does
Alright.
it though?
Whoa, hold
I
on,
don't
hold
know,
on.
does it?
You
I
said
don't
it's
think
dark.
it does.
Aha, thank you. I had to clarify on that. So, as you just look down into the darkness, you don't really need the scope at that point to really see a whole lot. There appears to be a base section further down, probably 80, 90 feet down from the top of the station. Looks like a large lattice work of metal and stone walkways and catwalks. There looks to be a large pumping piece, frogs hopping to and fro. You see a bunch of looks like they're throwing some meat into little ponds. And it looks from where you are, you can see where the edges of the water dump down, and there appears to be a chasm beneath even where that thing is. There's waterfalls that are running past that down further into what is beyond that's hard to tell.
It's a deep pit.
A second pit.
Or is it all just
Pitception.
or is it all just
Weird.
one full pit on its own, one giant pit?
Yeah.
It's all the way down.
Yep.
I'm gonna
Simone
relay
out of
that
pits. Yeah.
information to the group of what I saw. So, 90 feet. It's our first option.
Big issue is if you do come down over this edge, you are not going to be near the platform because it is in the center and this water is running down past it. Looks like it would have hit these wheels to turn the wheels, but right now as the water strikes it, the wheels are not turning.
Well, maybe we just go. And maybe we can just get the gear mechanism working, and maybe we don't even need to. Yeah.
I like
just turn
honest
it on
direct
again.
approach.
Yeah. Well, we can
I
get
kind of do
started.
too. Let's just try it, and then if we gotta fight someone, we fight someone.
Oh boy.
Are there any windows or various things that look to be broken or already open, so we don't have to just go open a door or anything like this on the actual pump station in the center?
You would have to cross the bridge to get over to the pump station itself
But with
proper.
my eyes, can I see it?
There is a wide open door.
Special.
Looks like something large has knocked the door open at some point in time in the past.
Trapped in the pump.
Big frog.
All
I
right.
feel that.
Now-
If you get too much information.
Really
like,
quickly,
whoa.
you said it's a bridge. What type of bridge? Is it like stone, rope?
It looks to be metal.
What's that metal's tensile strength?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yes.
Now-
yeah, what he said.
I do like the direct approach idea, but let me make a pitch one more time for my favorite plan.
Is this when we throw Steve to his doom?
No, I disguised myself as a leaper.
You can't be everybody's god. That's
Skeech
But it's a goodie.
No,
It is an
Steve
oldie
is
but
my
goodie.
captive.
Oh,
They don't take prisoners.
That sounds fun. Let's do it.
And then,
Dumb.
and then I will, I kind of do thing I've been working on where I kind of bedazzle them, if you will. And then failing that, you run in and start stabbing them.
I think this sounds good, but maybe we should do it from a position where we could run in the time before they kill you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Can I interrupt to just point out Will's bewildered face, thinking that we're about to throw a wrench in his plans again?
That's just what DMs look like.
I don't even carry a
in
wrench.
my experience here.
Despite the
This is the
Reverend
canon event. We can't
describing
stop
his
it.
his plans in this way, I actually think this one could work because it would give us an opportunity to get in really good position.
The Reverend looks surprised.
Yeah.
I think this is the way to go.
We could have Skeech up high, ready to use his stuff, and the rest of us can be shooting.
I
somebody's
just
gonna
need
need to
to
be
get
with
a
me.
good look at the Lepus first. See what they look like.
Actually, you can turn invisible too, right? Like that one time in the cistern?
No. I cannot turn invisible.
He's just real quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, you took her with you, so
Yes, and that plan did not go well, last I recall.
Nobody died.
Worked
Well, a lot of
really
people
well.
died, but
Yeah.
nobody we cared about.
Maybe we can just try it again.
I
Practice.
All right, so I explain. I
You still
explain
have tongues.
my plan
Yeah.
to Steve.
but I
Like-
can teleport us back if needed.
That I'm gonna look like a leaper, but I'm not gonna be a leaper.
He can still understand English right now, or
I can't understand English.
whatever.
I understand
I'll be
French,
wearing mine both
Skeech
times.
doesn't speak English.
And you'll know that it's me. Your Lord and Savior.
Je m'appelle Skeech.
Oui.
Nothing will go wrong.
Say.
Can I give
Can I
our
insight?
friend over here a little guiding touch to his maybe ability checks for intelligence?
The help she can get.
Heck yes.
You're gonna give Steve a boost to her, like, okay.
Is that the best thing to do? We're trying to.
Absolutely.
I think so.
Oh,
No,
wait,
Brad.
hold on. I have something for this. And I pull out the slide
Huh?
whistle
What is the
that the
bonus?
Reverend gave me. And I'll be like, when you fall, I'll
It's
make
an
a
extra
noise.
D4
Oh, okay, so
to intelligence rolls.
I thought you were gonna pull out some flowers
that would be a
for
3.
Algernon over there.
Oh no!
with the bonus.
Wait. What was
Well, I rolled a 1, then I subtracted this thing, and then I added the bonus for that, so we got a 3.
Great. Yeah.
You beautiful
Wait.
empty mold. We could
Whatever, I
turn
like
you into
this idea.
anything.
I still like this idea.
Yeah.
All right,
It's worked before.
Yeah.
so I'm gonna start. Well, let's sneak. Sorry,
We need to be able to get into position, so we
let's
still be together.
sneak closer.
Yeah.
Are you
Get
going
a
to go
good
into the
look at 'em,
building,
and
or
then
are you
I'll
gonna-
go ahead.
or is
a
everybody
little
staying
bit
outside?
Well, somebody's going to need to be with me. And hold
gotcha.
on to some rope. 'Cause I'm not getting swallowed whole.
I think we're going in the building though,
You're
right?
smart
Yes,
too.
yeah.
I can go get you.
I don't think they like fire much, though.
Are you sure? Do you know that for certain? Is this important?
Do I know?
Cool, you can blast your way out, but like,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
what
gonna
she
get
was
eaten
pretty
in the
much
first
assuming.
place.
Is like she could if she gets
Fire, how do
eaten,
they feel about
she
thunder?
could just cast fireball.
Are you familiar
Are
with
you-
the acid damage caused by stomach acid?
Huh?
It's okay. Hopefully you won't
It's
find out.
called. It's called digestion.
All right, so
They seem to be the most susceptible to fire and lightning. So yes, they seem to dislike those.
all right, so
Well, there you go.
all right,
Yeah,
well,
we don't
I
like
start.
fire much.
Let's go.
Let's just walk across the bridge. Yeah.
Okay.
As you all walk
Start-
across the bridge,
Got
and
stealth?
Yeah.
you can tell it's been quite a while since this bridge has had its maintenance, and it groans considerably under the weight of the party as you all move across, and some pieces of it fall off and don't hit anything on the way down. Just keep on falling way down.
I was gonna say we could. Okay.
And to the building you all have made it at this point. As you look at the door that's been busted in, something from the outside has knocked this door open to the inside. And at this point you can see a bit of a hall. Looks to be a large open room itself, but Damon is the only one that can. No, wait, dark vision. All right, so the four
Most
of
of
you,
us now, I think.
Who doesn't have dark vision?
Good for you.
Proudly.
Yeah.
Okay, now,
Yeah. Proudly.
problems with you and you. You all sent me down that crack alone to die.
Hey.
Still not over it.
In my defense,
Don't want to hear it.
What
the
crack?
new thing.
That's what they all say.
I turned on the brights under my eyeballs.
Skeech is
You
on my
just lied
shoulder.
to me.
Could I give
not
myself
really a-
away? It wasn't time yet.
it's not really a lie. She omitted fact.
It's true.
I wall like
We have a lot of things to talk about later, Mary.
Continuing.
This can wait.
As you look into the room, there is
Okay.
a lot of technical-looking equipment in this room itself. Large gears and pulley systems. Look like there's belts and things like that would run it, and some mechanisms that must control stuff for the pumps, but it's not been used in a long time.
Since
There are a bunch of decomposed skeletal remains up in here. And it appears
that's
that
normal.
at one point or another there was a bit of a battle that was waged up in here.
since Vahn has me on his back, I can spend most of my attention on this equipment. I want to see if it still looks functional. Like it's just not being powered right now. I just want to make sure that nothing's wrong.
Go ahead and give me a die roll real quick.
See
Okay.
Ratatouille.
I want you to be Ratatouille.
Yes.
That's exactly what I was thinking was Ratatouille in this game.
Would you like an investigation?
Yeah, let's do that.
That's going to be a 24.
24.
Woo!
All right, so it doesn't take you a whole lot to peep this over real fast. It looks like all of this could certainly be brought up to speed again very quickly. The belts more than likely would need to be replaced. The gears and things would probably need to be re-greased and things. But outside of that, it would not take a whole lot to bring this top section back into play. The only thing that concerns you right now is that the stairwells that would be leading down to where that platform is below, that obviously controls something with the pumping mechanisms down there, have all purposely been ripped away.
So,
to
like, I'm going to pull on the left side. Say, wait. Look at that.
obviously to prevent stuff from the surface from getting down. There is one piece in the center of the room. It appears to be an elevator platform that looks like it still would function and take you down.
We can't take the stairs, which in an emergency is definitely not up to code. But we might be able to use that.
I'll point out the elevator to Vahn.
It'll probably be really loud though.
Well, if it's the only way down, it's the only
Well,
way
yeah,
down.
But we don't really have much of a choice.
Where are you looking up towards?
We're on a rope.
What?
Do we see anything else? Anything at all in this space as we kind of glance around? Not just looking for like the stairs leading further down, but are there other rooms leading off this, smaller sections or things where there are doors shut?
You do see there's some maintenance areas that obviously would have stored pieces, parts, and they appear to have been ransacked. And there was basically all that's left are a bunch of trashed and broken boxes. Whatever was in them has long since been absconded out of here. No telling by who or what, unless you want to do some deeper looking into that, but it looks like it's been gone for quite a long time.
We're gonna need some frog grease to get this all up and running.
Mm-hmm.
Frog grease, nice. But yes, outside of that, there's not. This is very much function over form. There's not a whole lot of anything to make this look pretty, aside from literally the exterior of it to make it look a tad bit more attractive inside. It is very much the guts of service at this point.
How far down does it look like this elevator goes? Straight the full 80, 90 down?
It would take
or
you
does
right
this-
down to that platform.
There's
Looks like it's
no,
gonna
there's no
be-
center, no stopping in the middle anywhere.
As far as that goes, there is a
Like we don't see other platforms. Or
no. You
anything.
don't see other platforms. No.
I was going to ask how many leapers I saw down and around that platform.
Down at the base when Damon was looking down there.
Well, looking down through where the stairwells used to be.
Oh, looking down again, down that way, there's probably 5 or 6 sleepers with a bunch of things that they're throwing meat into these small little pools.
It's not too many there, but they'll probably all come running if they hear a bunch of noise. It's like 5 or 6 of them down there.
Well, line them up. Hold out the bone.
Well, I imagine that they use this
You also don't wanna-
elevator, so I don't know that they would immediately expect that to be
Well, I don't know. if
something other than a leaper.
As we're going down in the elevator, stop making some croaking sounds.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Do the leapers have sticky pads?
The leapers, not all of them.
But there are some.
There are some, yes.
May I
Good news, Echo.
May I ask if I've ever seen leapers up top around this area?
They do not go up to the surface.
They probably wouldn't use the elevator. They never come up here. So if we use it, that they're gonna immediately know.
Well, it doesn't seem like we have any other options at this point. And if we have to do this, like, we might as well just go down the elevator and just get it over with.
Come out swinging.
Yeah.
This is why
Well,
you and I get along.
It'll
Exactly. Yeah, we'll
take
figure
a
it out
minute
when
for
we get
the-
down there.
It'll still take a minute for the elevator to get down.
Oh, I could
so-
make it real fast. That's a good idea.
Just jump right
If
before
we
it hits the
need
bottom.
to
Yeah,
throw
exactly.
You
some
don't
of your
want to
stuff
know
up,
the answer
your
to that
bombs?
question.
Well, yeah, but
How's the elevator
then they
like?
run. And then
Is it like being lowered by a chain or something like that?
To the 4 points around the elevator itself, in the center section of it, there are a series of chains, and the platform actually sits around that exterior part. So when it lands, there's really not a whole lot of railing or things like that for you. It's a large, open platform.
I take out one
When
of
you're
my
king, we're gonna have to
largest
institute
models,
some
and
safety
then I
practices.
hold it up
jotting it
to
down.
my my bow tie, and I kind of give it a spin, and it starts just like gushing oil into the bottle. We can grease it up. Hopefully, it will squeak less.
Perfect.
Sounds great.
hey, Mary.
Yeah.
You might be able to use this.
I'm gonna hold out the vial of alchemist fire the Reverend gave me.
I think I can get something pretty close to that. So, thanks.
I knew you'd be able to do something interesting with it.
No.
So I just start like,
Greasing up the chain.
Excellent.
Just
Oh, yeah.
in case there's a big one. Like,
Can I grab one of the one of the skeleton hands and hold it out to Revan and go, "Do you need a hand?"
Absolutely.
was that a joke?
Yes.
Vaughn stifles a laugh from across the way.
Vaughn, write it down. Write it down.
Taking a mental. I'm recording this.
How-
I'm proud, James.
I knew you were a clown.
How big of an area can you make things quiet?
20-foot radius
Hand.
sphere.
Put in my belt. If you don't want it, I'll take it. It's okay.
How
Good.
far away can you use it from?
120 feet.
Is a lot of the systems based that move the elevator up and down just directly above the elevator?
Mhm.
Can you just make it there then? Because then it's going to be a lot quieter for us to go down.
Isn't it gonna be greasy now, so it'll be quiet.
Mhm.
It won't. Well, it won't make those quiet though. As she points up to all the gears and stuff that's supposed to lower the elevator down.
I can use this.
And I'll hold up the grease grenade that I got.
Oh,
But no, I thought your idea was better.
well, we'll use both.
I don't want to use this if I don't have to.
Oh, well, let's go. Gotta get into this.
Hold on. No, I know we seem to be quite eager
Everybody's greasy.
to get
I
onto this
know.
elevator. A question. First things first, is there like a recall button up here? Or does like the only way to activate the elevator on the elevator?
It's the lever on the elevator.
Well, that's unfortunate.
If you would have somebody that might have some more mechanical knowledge, you might be able to have them look around and see if there's something.
Just know, just
Greasy.
Big old
We
butt.
can get real greasy. We can all just grease up. They couldn't eat us because we'd be too greasy.
Oh, make
Or
it
we can also
There.
use fire.
Yeah.
Slippery.
Yeah.
Okay, if we're getting greasy, we can't use fire.
Well, we don't use the grease. We just use the fire.
I like the tip of my crossbow is just on fire.
Grease it right out.
Okay, I can quiet the gears, and we can head down.
Does
Yep.
that work?
Hey, at this point, we'll find out, won't we? And just
Yep.
steps onto the elevator.
I'm already on the
Still,
elevator.
I'm still
Yeah.
writing.
So
Can we all
I
fit
duck.
on this elevator?
Yes, all of you can fit on the elevator.
Oh, okay.
I'll cast silent on the gears in a 20-foot radius sphere.
It completely takes up the entire housing.
Cool.
I was actually kind of smart on my hat.
Okay. Let's get
Alright.
it. now.
Vaughn, are you having him check for that piece that you talked about? Because as you look at the controls, you have no idea. I mean, you've never worked anything like this. You can try to make an intelligence check on it. You're more than welcome.
What does it look like? Describe it to me.
There, you have as a panel. There are a bunch of levers, and there are gear things that you would push that look like it would move the precisions. You're not exactly sure what they apply to.
None of them are like a big red button.
No, it's not a red button.
All right.
There's no labeling on anything.
For the little
Did
glass
you
box
have a
over it.
plan?
Yeah.
The plan? The plan was for us just to send the elevator down without us on it, because we know what happens. We can just watch from up here. But if we can't call the elevator back, that puts us in another world of hurt.
I know someone who's gonna go down the elevator, but I don't know if we'll be able to get it back up.
That's not.
Oh,
Yeah.
Steve.
But I'd have no idea how this works, to be honest.
I know how it works.
I'd like to think that I'm just clipping the bubble of silence while I'm on Vaughn's shoulders. I'm like,
So I go up and I think, you know,
I hear
actually,
nothing.
I was once posing as an elevator repairman while I was in doing some stint in the Middle Kingdoms. I actually learned a little bit about elevator operation while I was there. I am 100% full of crap.
Are you getting this, Skeech?
Deception, please.
Wow.
So I think I can probably go ahead. Everyone get in. And I'll lower the
Checking my
brake
ears.
lever.
I'm inciting this.
Okay, that's
Yep.
fine.
I'm walking onto the elevator.
Oh no, I'm not.
I believe him.
That
so
is.
do I.
22.
Dang. Okay.
Actually,
Sounds
my
legit.
number 6 beats that.
All right,
You all
so-
From up
are
here, I can
thoroughly
see a piece of
impressed
paper. I'm not
by
sure what it
the
says, but
varied
it's last service
skills
by-
that the Reverend seems to have
I
possessed. by
am a
his-
singular point short. I'm at 21.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So
It
so
seems
now
a little
now
sketchy
like
to you, but everybody else is doing it. So what could possibly go wrong?
so now like a bead of now I realize what I've got myself into, and a bead of sweat is rolling down my head.
I was just gonna ask Skeech, but that works too.
Are you okay, Reverend?
Yeah, just trying to remember because I went through the training, but that was a little while.
we
It's
just
gonna
ask-
be, and I look at this and I just take a guess which one.
Are you
So
gonna
the-
like try to roll or anything to try to discern?
What do I have to do?
This one rolls.
Well, there's a lever on it that says up and down, but the one panel that you're looking at does not. It's one of the control panels. So go ahead.
Vaughn knows
Roll,
how to read.
roll. Yeah, no, the lever on
Again?
the elevator. Like I said, you look at the control panel you were talking about. The one on the elevator
I've
says
used
up
that.
and down.
Oh,
The one on the control panel, which is what
Which
they
is
were talking about, that you were talking,
outside
that
the
you started
elevator.
speaking about, has all the various levers and things and buttons and such.
Are they color
But none of those-
coordinated?
We can agree to disagree on what we stare
They
at.
apparently a miscommunication on what we were speaking of, but yes, the one on the elevator itself it says up and down.
All right.
All right, go ahead and give me just a straight up die roll to see what randomly happens when you pull a lever.
Yes.
Are they
didn't know
color
you should help out a
coordinated?
job.
Coordinated
It
at all?
doesn't
Roll a
need
D20,
a whole
Rip.
lot of
Well,
color
no.
coordination or anything. It
No, I'm
looks like
pulling the big lever inside the elevator that says up and
oh,
down.
the one in the elevator because
Yeah.
it's the control panel that we kept talking about before.
What does it control?
Where are we?
After we start to go down, I pop
Then
out
there's
of
no
the
reason
bubble
for
and
you
I
to
go,
sweat.
what is happening?
So now that we got that
Everything was
straight
quiet.
out, there's no reason for you to sweat. It literally says up and down, so you just
Okay,
Hold it to the-
great.
I look at it, I'm like, oh, it's labeled.
But who was
Oh.
phone?
so is that where you? Yeah.
none of you have stayed above. Everybody's on the elevator. It descends. Let's go ahead and So, as the elevator is dropping down,
Start juggling.
it's not making a whole lot of sound, but
Echo
does
loves
make
that.
a little motion. And you all
Let's
make it
move
down.
Whoa!
Let there be. Have.
Is that a giant fan?
No,
Is that the elevator?
that's
Okay.
actually
Well, let's reveal
that's
the
actually
map to the
Techno
viewers,
Mumbo
please.
Jumbo, which I specialized in when I did a stint at a cave.
All right.
somewhere.
There you go. So, down you all come to the elevator right here where it stops at the base and clicks into place. And as you look about, we're going to pick up next week here and happening.
I want to blow that up.
So, do join us again next Sunday evening
Merry
at 7 o'clock
Christmas.
for our next episode of the Doomsday Granitegard here on the Guardtower Presents. You all have yourselves a wonderful week, and we'll see you soon.
If this is a video game, that's